Hey, how's everybody doing? Welcome along to this Thursday night and what should be a fun little game. I'm expecting the Roosters will win quite comfortably, but doesn't mean it's going to happen, of course, and we're looking forward to the homecoming of Daly Cherry-Evans. So that'll be interesting in of itself. What kind of reception will Cherry-Evans get back at Brookie, back at Four Pines Park, wearing a Roosters jersey? Be very interesting indeed. Welcome along, everybody in the chat. Zoe, ahoy there. Nice to see you as always. Captain Redbeard, ahoy, mate. Must be nice, Captain Redbeard, for the Cowboys to have put a W on this season. At the expense of the Titans, of course. Freon, ahoy, mate. Wayne Stretch, ahoy. Aussie John, of course. Aussie John, channel member. Cheers, mate. Channel member and waiting patiently there, first in the chat room. Gamer Mel, ahoy there. Another channel member. It's what we like to see, the little wasted World of Sports badges. Actually, I remember there was a channel member, I can't remember which one said it, but there was a channel member a season or two ago that always thought the little channel members icon was a West Tigers logo. They sent me a message and was like, is it possible for me to get not a West Tigers logo as my membership? And I said, nobody's got a West Tigers logo. It's the Wasted World of Sports emblem. Anyway, Chris Bradley, ahoy, mate. Nice to see you there. Oh, and Zoe, thank you very much for the heart me over on TikTok. An early present coming through for me over there. Cheers, Zoe. Welcome along. So, a little bit of, what's the word? A little bit of transparency. I'll be straight up. Sportsbet doing a promotion at the moment. Any leg fails in a same game multi on tonight's game, and you get bonus bet back. Right? So I've gone a little left field. I've gone a little out there with my SGM for tonight's game because it is essentially a free hit of sorts. So game tonight is on Channel 9. I mean, I think it should be on KO Sports. I don't see why not. Wasted World of Sports, of course, exists for people who have no access to the game whatsoever. Or they do have access and just prefer not listening to the TV commentary. That is, of course, why we exist. There you go. Captain Redbeard can confirm it is on KO. So, for that reason, I've loaded up on a very, very unusual same game multi. Remember, total transparency, it's a free hit. I've got that bonus bet coming back no matter what. Any leg fails. So I'm not really anticipating this one to hit. But hey, honestly, it's not like it's the worst multi in the world. So there's a couple of players that I think are due. And Marky Mark Nawangani-Tawase, he was a bit quiet in the last game. Well, everybody was for the Roosters, though, weren't they? Taking on the Panthers, who are just on a different planet at the moment. So, first leg, Nawangani-Tawase. Wayne Stretch has gone Jason Saab first try. This is where I've gone a little bit left field. There's a high percentage of teams scoring with their edge forwards at the moment. So, Holy Moly Olakau'atu and Sir Angus Crichton, I think, come into the equation. Couldn't split the two of them, so I've put them in together. Why not? And Billy Smith returning from concussion, his little e-bike accident. So, like I said, any leg fails, I get a bonus bet back. Should they all hit, it's going to be worth a few grand. So, the way that I look at it is, if you get essentially a free shot, you got to go all out. I mean, what's the point of getting a free shot and then putting multi on that's only going to get you $90 return, right? If you've been given a free hit, you got to go all out for it. Because why not? Shannon Martin, ahoy there. Manly out onto the field. Now, I wasn't paying attention. I was talking to you lot. Didn't notice any boos from the crowd when Cherry-Evans came out, led the Roosters onto the park. There you go. That was a hot debate throughout the course of the week. The other thing to keep in mind, wet weather footy. Will they keep it in tight, play it through the forwards? That's another reason why I've sort of chucked a couple of edge forwards in there. So let's see how it goes. Kickoff. Moments away. Get my screen ready. Referee blows the whistle and we're off and running. Who's going to get first use of it? It will be the home side. Manly running left to right in this opening half. Thursday night footy off and running. Mammoth X1, ahoy mate. Odd Poppet, ahoy mate. You're booing on the inside. Early shift here from Manly and Saab is straight into space. Up over halfway. Lining up on the inside is Tom Trbojevic and holy moly Olakau'atu. Tom Trbojevic is all that's needed. Manly have taken everybody by surprise, no least me, who was not prepared for that. That's rugby league video game stuff. Shifting the ball on the first play of the game. Manly have just taken everybody by surprise. Bamboozling us all. And they've scored the first try of the night. Tom Trbojevic with the opening try. From the kickoff, which has gone to the left edge, Manly have immediately shifted to the right edge. Saab, from inside his own 20-metre line, goes up over halfway. Tedesco gets drawn in because he had to. Tom Trbojevic. Wow. I don't think anybody expected that, and that's what makes it so beautiful. Who was prepared for that? Tommy Turbo. Manly, who were atrocious the other week, by the way. They were all right against the Raiders. Probably should have won that game in the end. But they were just dismal the other week. The simplest of simple conversions incoming for Jamal Fogarty. Right in front makes it 6-0. Yes, indeed, you heard me correct. 6-0 with a couple of minutes gone. Only one set of 6 and not a full one. Incredible. Plane up, Guru Gang. You got Tom Trbojevic first, second, or third. Well, there you go. There would have been some excitement for who had Jason Saab as their first try scorer. It looked like Saab was going to go all the way. Roosters get it back underway again. Do Manly go the early shift again? They go straight up the middle this time. Oh, Egan Butcher's down. Egan Butcher is down, and he has not got back up. Referee's blown time off, and things are going from bad to worse here for the Sydney Roosters. Egan Butcher, he's going to be off the field, so first set of 6 from kickoff. They have a try scored against them. Second set of 6. They're going to lose Egan Butcher for the night. Wide Bay Sweets, ahoy there. Thank you very much for the gift over there on TikTok. Incredible. The Roosters, in their wildest nightmares, could not have imagined such a poor start to this game. And now they're about to lose one of their edge forwards. Wow, actually, Egan Butcher's playing lock tonight. My bad. Jeez, what a rough start this is. Heel Fries, ahoy mate. Campbell over on the purple platform. Roosters and Tupou anytime. There you go. Mammoth X1, thank you so much for joining the channel membership as Manly cough the ball up. Brooks in contact. Hands possession back to the Roosters. And the Roosters have now knocked it on. Double knock on, first one against Manly, so the Roosters will get the ball here still. And Luke Brooks coming up with the first mistake. As the rain continues to plummet down. Incredible. Aussie John says, Dan, I simply cannot stand Andrew Johns on Channel 9 commentary. He's an absolute flog, in my opinion. No, I love Johnsy. Robert Toya waits for it over on the right. Takes the tackle inside the 30, over on that left edge. Back into the middle. Big Nafahu White. Just shy of the 20-metre line. He gets up and goes again. You can't do that, mate. You got to go back to the mark and play it. 20 out here, the Roosters. Back into midfield. Watson's on. Inside ball from Walker to Angus Crichton. And they're inside the red zone. Can they strike back nice and early, the Roosters? They kind of need to, don't they? Walker out the back for Cherry-Evans. Nice flat pass for Siwa Wong. And Wong goes just a couple of metres out. 2 tackles left. Oh, no, there's not, because they get a set restart. Tedesco in midfield. Steps off the left. Puts the fend on Fogarty. And he's taken down just a couple of metres out. Robson from dummy half into Watson. Lined up to the left here, the Roosters, and left is where they go. Short ball for Lindsay Collins. Almost crashes his way through. Halfway through the set now. Cherry-Evans with a long ball right. Nawaqanitawase in a little bit of open space, but it shuts down quickly. And he's 5 metres out. 2 tackles left. Cherry-Evans out the back for Walker. Watson with the cutout pass. Intercept attempt is knocked down by Manly. And this will be another full set of 6 incoming. Ruben Garrick probably saved a try, but more pressure incoming. Daniel Anderson, ahoy, mate. The Roosters need to win this game to get their season back on track. Yes, it'll be interesting. Like, the Roosters are perennial slow starters, right? Every season. Slow starters. And let's remember, too, as the Roosters break right. Nice short ball from Cherry-Evans to Toya. When Cooper Cronk first came across to the Roosters, they went 4-4 in the opening 8 rounds that season. So it's not all doom and gloom. 6 again for the Roosters. Cherry-Evans inside to White, and Big Nafahu White beats the first tackle, bends the second tackle, and he's half a metre out. They boo Cherry-Evans every touch now. Walker with the double pump, triple pump, floats the Harbour Bridge ball over the top for Toya. Tupou, sorry. And Daniel Tupou goes within a metre. Back to midfield. Walker to Cherry-Evans. You know it's Cherry-Evans because of the boos. Siwa Wong taken down. Halfway through the set. Short side for Cherry-Evans. Flick pass back for Teddy. Teddy heads back down the short side. Keeping the ball alive for Nawaqanitawase. And Marky Mark's in the corner. Tick number 1 off the multi. Mark Nawaqanitawase hits back for the Roosters. Six points to 4. Kick to come from out wide, keeping the ball alive. Tedesco to Toya. Draw and pass, and Nawaqanitawase. All he needs is a little smidge of space. So that was acres of room for him to move in. First tick off our massive multi. And I tell you what, for wet weather footy, both teams are defying what you would expect. You would expect the ball to be kept in tight. Oh, he's got to fix his hair. Nawaqanitawase fixing his hair after... I've got a feeling that Marky Mark's hair just falls back into place anyway. I mean, he just wakes up and it falls like that. Jar Shred says Roosters better win. I put a multi on them. Try confirmed. Exactly, Michelle. Like Sideshow Bob's hair. I mean, you know that if no one into us gets a caricature done, one of those ones at the park, the comedic caricatures, it would be Sideshow Bob hair. Sammy Walker from out wide brings it back, but it hits the post and bounces away to stay 6 points to 4 in favour of Manly. So Manly, outside of that early shift from the kickoff, have done absolutely nothing, essentially. Kickoff, take the tackle, early shift out to the right, score a try. The next set of 6 from the kickoff, Brooks drops the ball, and it's been all Roosters since that point. Back underway. And it's Nwangani Tawase who takes the kickoff and the hit up. Down the short side, Cherry-Evans to a chorus of boos. Obviously, that's going to happen all night long. Egan Butcher ruled out with a Category 1 HIA, as we expected. There was no way he was coming back. Watson in midfield with the short ball for Collins. Gets put on his back in a puddle of water. 40 out from their own line. Tedesco with the settler on the 5th and last. Taken on halfway. Cherry-Evans puts the high floating bomb up. And it's going to land awkwardly here for the Sea Eagles. Bounces up kindly for Hopewade. And Hopewade surrenders in the tackle. No thought of a kick return on that occasion. Tom Trebojevic, after his early try, tackled, pushed back inside the red zone. Jar Shred, both your players scored. You have Roosters 1-12, under 50 and a half. Nice. Both try scorers ticked off already. As saw somebody's lost the headgear. Is that Jakey boy, Gerbo? 5th and last, only 25 metres off that set. But a monster kick from Fogarty. Sees Tupou taking it on his own 10. Returns it outside the red zone, but that's a hell of a kick from Fogarty. Wayne Stretch needs a 40-20. Is that part of an SGM, Wayne Stretch, or just a straight bet? As Nwangani Tawase out to the Roosters' 40-metre line. Halfway through their set. Good field position, really, compared to Manly anyways. Siwa Wong up to halfway. Here's Teddy with some front foot ball. Carries it to Manly's 40 on the 5th and last. They stay short side here. Cherry-Evans puts it high. It's going to land about 15 out. Tommy Turbo takes it. And Manly back in possession. Saab runs it back into midfield. A settler. Manly just need to build themselves back into this contest, taking everybody by surprise with that opening try. It was tackle number 2. Late offload here, keeping the ball alive for Wakeham. A late inclusion into this team. And an early kick from inside the 40. Here comes the first 40-20, is it? It's bending towards the line, but sliding across the wet turf and stealing from Wayne Stretch is Nwangani Tawase. Oh, that was nearly a 40-20. Nwangani Tawase, using the conditions, slides across the turf and bats the ball back in field. Tupou in midfield, lines up Fogarty. Fogarty brings him down. 3 tackles gone. Walker at pace, goes back in field for Watson. Watson finds a little bit of a gap, but it shuts down quickly. Big Nafahu White up over halfway. Huddles forming everywhere on the field now. Cherry-Evans puts it high into the corner again. 10 metres out from the line. Easy take for Tommy Turbo. And he's got Lehigh Hopewade with him. Good kick chase, though, from Lindsay Collins, of all people, leading the way. Saab now back into midfield. And the process continues here for Manly. Oh, thinking about the early shift again from inside their own 20. Olakau'atu stands in the 2-man tackle. Jakey boy out the back for Brooks. Brooks, dummies. And then he's taken down by Siwa Wong. Going from strength to strength is Siwa Wong. Good on attack, good on defense. A bit of a beast. Fifth and last, again, only 20 meters off that set. Manly are getting pinned down here. Fogarty puts the high ball up, taken by Tedesco at the back. And Teddy Tedesco returns it just short of halfway. Set restart there on tackle one. But it is the Roosters who are controlling the flow of this game now. Keeping Manly pinned down into the corners, only allowing them 20 metres or so off every set of 6. Here's Angus Crichton to the 30. 4 minutes 50 since the last stoppage. Short side play, Sam Walker dummies. And it's well read by Manly's defensive line. Tackle 4 as the Roosters march into the red zone. Watson's got it in midfield. Tedesco as they shift right. Robert Toya almost gets away from Tolakola. Fifth and last. Tedesco into dummy half. Cherry-Evans plugs it to the short side. It's going to land just outside the goal line for Tom Trbojevic. And again, they're just pinning Manly down in that far corner. It's a simple tactic, but it's paying dividends at the moment for the Roosters. They are wearing Manly out. Again, it's only going to be a 20-meter set. Halfway through, they've only just got outside their 10. Big defense from the Roosters. Now they shift. Fogarty to Trbojevic. Garrick has to straighten. Fifth and last, 25 out from their own line. Another 20-meter set. Big defense from the Roosters. Brooks sends it deep. It's going to land on the 20 for Tedesco. Tedesco winds up. Returns it to the 40. Gives to Nwangani Tawase. Tries to break the line, and he's taken down on the 40. Well, he's got himself up to halfway. And on tackle 2, they bust into Manly territory. The Roosters, a little bit shell-shocked after that opening play, but they're well on top here. Everywhere but where it counts. And that's on the scoreboard, huh? White looking to keep the ball alive, but 3 men there to bring him down. Joseph Tolofoa. You need Hamole Olakawatu. Cherry-Evans to Walker. Numbers out to the left. Walker has to go back to the right side. Cherry-Evans dumped in the tackle, and the crowd loves that. Oh, the crowd has just erupted in applause. Fifth and last for Sam Walker. Crossfield kick for Tupou, but Saab is up there first in the Battle of the Giraffes. Manly back in possession, but again inside their own 10. Lindsay Collins and Connor Watson driving them back towards their own goal line. Popawade now shifts to Brooks. Brooks onto Kohler. Halfway through the set, and again, just outside their own 10. This is incredible defense from the Roosters. Stuck inside their red zone. Tom Trbojevic tries to get them going forward, but it's the fifth and last. 30 out from their own line. Fogarty needs a big kick, and he delivers. Tupou tracking back. He'll take it 10 meters out and wind up. Gets those big legs pumping. Good kick chase, though, from Manly under the circumstances. Nwangani Tawase from a standing start. Carries up to the 40. Rodney Rapper, ahoy, mate. They're loving the short side here, the Roosters. Tedesco. Dummies, and he's put down 40 out from Manly's line halfway through the set. Cherry-Evans heads across field. He's got Walker, who dummies with the big Harbour Bridge ball over the top. Tackle 4, 40 metres out. Trying a Milky Magua penalty. Robson from dummy half. The markers shut him down on the fifth and last, though. Cherry-Evans kicks it high down the middle. Going to land it about 10 metres out again. The ball is lost forward by Manly. 6 more tackles. Nafahu White beats 1. And he's taken a ground a couple of metres out here, just to the left of the posts. A full set of 6 now in the red zone. Cherry-Evans out the back for Tedesco. Keeps it alive for Toya. It's on again for Nwanganitawase. Dives for the corner. And Marky Mark gets a double. Mark Nwanganitawase with 2 tries. Puts the Roosters ahead. Lined up to the right. They just had to get the ball there. And that's where it all broke down. Let's see who that was. Tola Kola, I think it was. Tolu Kola. Oh, no. My apologies to Kola. It was Lehigh Hopawade jamming in, trying to shut down Tedesco before he got the ball free. And that's created the overlap. An easy space there for Nwanganitawase. Robert Toya just had to get the ball to him, and he did. Eight points to 6 with the kick to come. Try is confirmed. Scrambles on TikTok says Roosters all day. Leading the way at the moment. Oh, excuse me. So basically, for those who can't see the game, the Roosters kicked off, and on play 2 from the kickoff, Manly from inside their own red zone do an early shift out to the right, puts Saab in space. Saab draws in Tedesco and puts Tommy Turbo in under the sticks. 6 points to 0 in the opening minute of the contest. But then it's been all Roosters. Sammy Walker from bang on the sideline. The exact same spot as last time with the exact same result, just a little further away this time. He hit the post last time out. 8 points to 6, and it's those missed conversions hurting the Roosters. But I don't think it's going to matter too much if they keep this pressure up. I mean, they're just... Cherry-Evans' kicking game is pinpoint perfect at the moment. DCE is kicking them to death. He's kicking high into the corners, landing the ball about 10 metres out from the line every single time. But by the time Manly have finished their set of 6, they're only about 30 metres out from their own end. DCE takes the kickoff, and it's Nafahu White winding up. Takes 3 just to slow him down. Tackled 15 out from their own line. Nwanganitawase getting through a mountain of work here. He's obviously got the rocket up him. I felt like Nwanganitawase might have had one eye already on rugby union, you know what I mean? He's had a little bit of a slow start to the year, but he's firing on all cylinders tonight as the Roosters kick early here. Cherry-Evans from inside the 40 needs the bounce. It does break towards the sideline. Hopawade takes a bloody eternity to pick the ball up. He was having a cup of coffee and a biscuit. Manly again inside their own red zone. T-Funk, ahoy, mate. Missing 2 kicks in a row. You've just turned 2 tries into 1 try and a penalty. 6 again here for Manly. Boy, did they need that. Bogarty, dummies, takes the line on, but that gap closes pretty quickly. And now some space opening up around the ruck. Wakeham goes out the back for Brooks. Brooks to Trbojevic. Ben Trbojevic now onto Hopawade in space, but Marky Mark coming across. Nwanganitawase shuts that one down. But Manly finally venture into the Roosters 40. This would be, without doubt, their first tackle inside Roosters 40-metre line. I'm sure of it. Bogarty shifts now. Tap on from Tommy T to Saab. Saab steps back in field. And he's tackled 20 metres out, 5th and last. Here's a big chance for Manly. Bogarty puts it high, back down this short side. Olakuatu chasing through. Tedesco loses it forward, and it sets up for Manly to score. It's Wakeham. Brandon Wakeham, the hooker. Late inclusion into the team. Scoops up the mistake from Tedesco. And let's see if we get him right. No, we don't. Simpkin. It's not Simpkin. Brendan Wakeham has scored the try. Blake Murphy, ahoy, mate. A lot of boos for Cherry-Evans, indeed. They are all over him tonight. So I've just got to find out what number is Wakeham. He is... Oh, okay. He's in it at 14. 14. No, that's Hetherington. Oh, God. Maybe because he was a late inclusion. Oh, wait a minute. Wait just a minute. This one has not been awarded. They're going to have a look. This is not a try just yet, so we might not even need to find him. Ola Kawatu racing through to put a challenge on Tedesco. Has run into the back of Billy Smith, who is just loitering around. And he's run straight over the top of him. Pushed Billy Smith in the back. This is going to be no try and a penalty. Oh, we've got to take those points off. So Billy Smith was not running an escort, so that part is fine. Ola Kawatu is running through to put pressure on. And he's run into the back of... I've just got to put Tom Trebojevic back on the try scorer sheet. My apologies. Wow. The Roosters have dodged an almighty bullet there. Cherry-Evans finds touch just outside the 20. "18 minutes left to play in this opening half. Lindsay Collins, 35 out. He backs into the defence. Watson, late ball there for White. It would have been a hospital ball if it was to anybody else but Nafahu White. The absolute man-beast that he is. Walker to Tedesco in midfield. On to Smith. Billy Smith dummies and goes straight through, but a late ankle tap brings him down. Tedesco in at first receiver. Goes out the back for Walker. Walker's got Watson heading across field. Easy target there from Ben Trebojevic. And he had some help there from Brooksy. Fifth and last, short side. Cherry-Evans puts a monstrous high ball up. Batted back by the Roosters. Still fifth and last. Watson fires it over in midfield to nobody. Billy Smith tracking back for it. One-on-one puts the fend on. Gets into open space. Offloads for Angus Crichton. Crichton draws in the defence. Walker keeps it alive for Tedesco. Tedesco chips it over the top for himself. Tom Trebojevic is there to take it. Beats the chase of Tedesco, but then look at all the white jerseys there to keep him in the dead ball line. To keep him in the try-scoring area, and a goal line dropout ensuing. Well, that was hectic, but it's a result nonetheless. A goal line restart incoming, and here's a good topic of conversation for the chat room. Short restarts. I just don't get it. Kick the ever-living bollocks out of the bugger as far as possible and back your defence in. Just like that, Jamal. Just like that. Bogarty puts it 60 metres on the fly for Lindsay Collins to wind up. And Lindsay Collins goes from the back fence and straight back down on his haunches. I'm not sure if that's because of how far he had to run or if because he got hit really hard. Or a combination of both. Walker, short ball for Crichton. Crichton carries it inside the 30. And with big leg drive, some post-contact meters, he's tackled 25 out in midfield. Roosters go right for Cherry-Evans to Watson, who dummies. It opens up for him. And a tackle from Ben Trebojevic shuts him down 15 metres out. They stay short side. Cherry-Evans, nice short ball, but well read by Brooksy. Fifth and last here for the Roosters. Walker, flat pass for White. Nafahu White from a standing start. Tries to power his way over the line. And he's tackled just to the right of the post. That'll be a handover. They're looking very threatening, though, the Roosters. Again now, Manly inside their own 10-metre line. They've only had, like 2 tackles inside the Roosters' half? 2 or 3? This has been a crazy dominant first half. Halfway through the set, only 20 metres gained. Opawade takes a couple more. Corey Waddell's on the field, brings it up to the 40. That's a more traditional set, that one, for Manly. Fifth and last. Fogarty steps just outside the 40, sends it deep, straight down the gullet of Tedesco. 10 out from his own line. Teddy winds up, starts to head across field. Now he straightens when he sees Ben Trebojevic. And he's put on his back 30 metres out from his own line. Again, the Roosters stay short side. Nawangani Tawase, just short of the 40. They're loving that short side play. Halfway through the set, Walker goes out the back for DCE. Cut out pass for Smith. Billy Smith puts the fend on. He's driven towards the sideline. Stays in the field of play, though. Cherry-Evans to Crichton. Back to DCE. Wrapping around. And Cherry-Evans with a good carry. But he's tackled on the fifth and last. 35 out on this left edge. Walker puts it high. That's not a bad-looking kick. Tupou's chasing through to put pressure on, but what a take from Tommy T. Tommy Turbo's just like, what pressure? No pressure, mate. But again, Manly, from inside their own red zone, they start this set, and they've got to grind out some meters. Opawade spun to ground there in a three-man tackle. Manly this time stays short side. Taking it up to the 35. Bruce, ahoy there, mate. Bruce Almighty. Corey would. I don't know why I found that so exciting to say. I mean, it was a good movie. One of Jim Carrey's best. Fifth and last, Manly are going to go on a run here. Ben Trebojevic to Kohler. Kohler tries to put the fend on. Cherry-Evans brings him to ground, and that'll be a handover. Now, did Tolu Kohler realize that was fifth and last? Crazy end of set there for the home side. Oops. Roosters back in possession. Just short of halfway, controlling the territory. Definitely winning the territorial battle. And they're back into Manly territory. Robson goes quick, spots some space around marker. 30 metres out in midfield. Tedesco at first receiver to DCE. Dummies, then gives the short ball for Wong. Wong keeps it alive. Back for Walker. Walker pops it up for Crichton. Crichton from a standing start. Taken down right in front of the post here. 20 metres out, fifth and last. Walker chips over the top for Tupou. Tupou bats it back for Walker. Fires the no-look pass in field where it's intercepted by Ola Kawatu. Not really an intercept. He threw it straight to him, but that's still classified as an intercept, I say. Now Tolu Kohler goes straight through, up over halfway, stepping back in field, puts some footwork on Tedesco, and Tolu Kohler's going to go all the way and score. Dives over to give Manly the lead, and a lead that they can't take off them this time. Kohler out of nowhere. A half that has been dominated by the Roosters. And it's another breakout try. Two Manly tries, both essentially length of the field. Sam Walker does extremely well there to chase back and make sure that Kohler stays out wide. Try confirmed. Manly. They've stayed in the dogfight. And now they're looking like going into halftime with a lead. Unbelievable. That try, that breakout. You could say that was pretty hardcore.
You're not hardcore unless you live hardcore.
Wow. It's funny, I stayed away from the back line in this game because of the wet weather conditions. I should know better because the modern rugby league player, the modern day rugby league player, don't care about wet weather. Wet weather, dry weather, it's all the same. These guys just keep playing. No matter what. Jamal Fogarty, about 10 to the left of the post, pushes it out to the right. Oh, he's left his kicking boots in Canberra. 10 points to 8 it remains. I can't believe that Jamal Fogarty missed that. One of the most consistent and backable goal kickers of last season. I mean, you're allowed to miss one or two, of course. Alan, ahoy, mates. Alan says, go Manly, go Manly. Well, back underway. 10 minutes left to play in this opening half. And suddenly, Manly, full of running. 10 points to 8. They lead. You just can't believe it. You can't believe it. The stats are going to make some interesting reading at halftime because, honestly, the Roosters should be ahead here. And they should be ahead by a lot. Set restart. Manly, riding this wave of momentum, could blow this game wide open. Hetherington driven back in the three-man tackle, but he keeps his feet. From dummy half, Simpkin takes it up over halfway. Halfway through the set and much better field position. Ola Kawatu. He only knows one way. Straight. Big leg drive. Carries it inside the 40. Gets a quick play the ball on the back of it. Brooks hits the ball at pace. Cut out pass to Kohler. Kohler keeps it alive for Hopewade. Steps back in field. And he's taken 15 out over on the left edge. Big open side to the right here on the fifth and last. And that's where Brooks kicks. Looking for Ola Kawatu in midfield, who bats it back. Ball is still alive on the fifth and last. Garrick, in and away, puts the grubber kick in, trying his best to channel Brian To'o. But he fails miserably, and Sam Walker dives on it, half a metre out from his own try line. Momentum completely reversed in this contest. 8.5 to go until the break, and this game completely swung on its head. Now it's the Roosters pinned down inside their own red zone, struggling to make distance. Tackle 4. They're still inside their own 20. Now they're not. Good run, that one. Fifth and last. Big kick needed here from DCE. From inside his own 30, he delivers it, bounces to Manly's 20. They again take an eternity to pick this up. But when they do, Saab has an easy kick return, just short of the 40. You took Kohler out for Hopewade and Turbo out for Tedesco. Supercoach or NRL fantasy, I'm gathering. Yeah. Tough times, tough times. And they've spilt the ball here, Manly. Presenting it on a silver platter to the Roosters on halfway. 40 out from Manly's line now on play 2. Oh, they had this wave of momentum and they've just said, no, thank you. We don't want it. We want to make it hard for ourselves. Connor Watson takes tackle 4. 7 minutes to go till the halftime break. Manly were on top, but here come the Roosters again. Wong bats it back in field for Tedesco. Can't get the arms free. And he's taken down by Luke Brooks. 20 out from the line. Fifth and last, Cherry-Evans puts it high. He's going to land it on the 10 again. Jason Saab takes it. Manly survived that little attacking raid. They've got to complete. They've got to get to end a set and get the kick away. Pelt Mayang. Ahoy there, mate. Oh, a late offload here. Risky business. Manly have picked up the loose ball, but geez, they're taking some risks that they really don't need to. Gamer Mel asks if Tupou's playing. Yes. Yes, he is. He's out there. As now, Tommy T dummies, break straight through. Dragged down from behind by Cherry-Evans, 40 out. Front foot ball here for Manly, fifth and last. Brooks is going to run it down the short side. Ben Trebojevic throws a forward pass out to Hopewade. It's allowed to go, and then Hopewade spills it in contact from Nwangani Tawase. Saves the day because Hopewade was away with the line wide open. I was going to ask how they got away with that forward pass, but I'm pretty sure that's Belinda Sharp's edge. So that answers any question you might have about that. Roosters survive an almighty scare there. Angus Crichton out to the 20. 5 minutes to go until the halftime break. Both teams have had opportunities that they haven't taken now. So this half has probably ended up evening itself out. Cherry-Evans, dummies. They're loving that right edge. The Roosters. They've obviously spotted something there. Tedesco. Straight. Runs it straight and over halfway. Tackle 4. Walker puts it high. Not a lot of distance on it, but it is contestable. Taken by Tom Trebojevic in the face of the kick chasers. And yeah, with 4.5 minutes to go, it seems like this one's just winding down. No, Nat Butcher is on the interchange bench. It was Egan Butcher who got ruled out with HIA at the second set of 6 in the game. His brother, the Butcher Brothers. That'd be a great tag team in wrestling. We are the Butcher Brothers. Fifth and last, Brooks is going to go on a run again. Ben Trebojevic looks to go quick inside for Tommy. Hands on it, though, from the Roosters. Knocked on as they go for the intercept. It's a result for Manly here, running on the fifth and last. Touched by a Rooster. That could be a really awkward graphic novel. Crazy C, ahoy there, Rooster. But it is Manly at the moment on the attack. Aussie Mozzie, ahoy mate. Long time no see, I feel, but it's good to see you again, my friend. Short ball for Ola Kawatu. Runs straight over the top of Walker. Beats a second tackle and then drops it. Oh, I thought we were on for our second leg. Ola Kawatu nearly breaking through. And the Roosters off the hook here with 3 minutes until the break. And we've got time off. Sam Walker is off for a HIA. Sammy Walker is being sent off for a HIA. Oh, friendly fire there from Fekete. Both of them going in for a low tackle. They've both got their heads perfectly positioned, like regulation tackle. But one from the left, one from the right, and they've smacked heads. Oh, that could be huge. That could be massive if Sam Walker gets ruled out. He seemed all right, though. Royal Banger. I love it. Royal Banger. How's the weather for this game? It is hammering down. Absolutely hammering down. Roosters out to their own 20. 2 minutes 40 to go until the halftime break. Sam Walker off for HIA. Hugo Savala is the number 19 interchange. Can they find a way to activate him? Tedesco with the cutout pass for Noangani Tuase. Gets himself one-on-one with Hopawade. Taking the ground just inside Manly's territory. Fifth and last incoming. Staying on the short side again. Cherry-Evans puts it high. He's going to land it 10 meters out again. And it's been lost backwards there by Tommy Turbo. Has to dive on the loose ball. And he's a couple of meters out from his own line as the Roosters fly through inside the last 2 minutes. Garrick with a settler in midfield. Robert M, ahoy mate. 17 for the Roosters is Salasi Fiketti. Or Salasai Fiketti. S. Fiketti. The Roosters should get one more set of 6 here as Olakuatu with a late offload for Garrick. Garrick onto Saab. Saab powers his way just short of halfway. That's the fifth and last. A minute and a half to go in this opening 40. Bogarty with a high Burton-style looping bomb. The Tedesco takes with ease on his own 20. And the Roosters will get a full set of 6 here to send us into the halftime break. Oh, breaking news. Sam Walker and Salasi Fiketti, both Category 2s. So there we go. Both Category 2s, both a possibility to return. Tedesco to halfway, gives it off to Angus Crichton. Crichton looks to get the arms free. And he's taken down 40 out from Manly's line. 2 tackles left, 38 seconds to go. Fifth and last for the Roosters. What can they come up with? Cherry-Evans puts it high. Not a lot of distance on it, but it's going to land on the 10 again. Batted back by the Roosters. But Hetherington's there waiting for the bat back. And he'll go to ground. And Manly will take a 2-point lead into halftime, if you can believe it. The Roosters missed conversions. Sam Walker did not put a single one over from the 2 tries scored. The halftime siren sounds. Referee blows time off. And we'll all have a break. And what has been quite an amazing game, really. And I mean amazing as in good, fun, entertaining game. Considering the conditions. I mean, it is absolutely belting down. It seems to have eased off at the moment, though. It's hard to tell on TV. But, yeah, the Roosters, considering that they have pretty much controlled territory and possession, going in at halftime. Oh, hey, Alana, how are you? Going in at halftime trailing, that's got to be backbreaking for them. Got to be backbreaking for them. Now, as halftime is present, gives us a chance to have a little bit of a chat. And something interesting came up. I think it was on the TikTok chat. Waste the World of Sports, of course, live on YouTube. Live on a platform I'm still not sure if we're allowed to mention or not. Because apparently one of the other platforms has issue with one of these other platforms and you're not allowed to say it. But anyway, Waste of World of Sports, live on YouTube, live on the purple one that starts with T, that I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say, and live on TikTok. Doing as many games as I find humanly possible each and every weekend in the NRL. So I think it was the TikTok chat that brought up that the Roosters really need to win this game. And whilst, yes, they do. Uncle, ahoy, mate. Uncle name is trimmed off on my window. Uncle Brown Dog, is it? Uncle Brown Dog, thank you very much for the heart me as well, my friend. Cheers. So, look, obviously the Roosters would be in a much better position if they win, quite frankly. I mean, that goes without saying. But I was referring to when Cooper Cronk first came over to the Roosters and they got off to one of their traditional slow starts. Cooper Cronk actually said it on... He either said it on NRL 360 or the Cooper and Matty podcast that they do. One of the two. But he brought up an interesting point. When Cooper Cronk first went across to the Roosters, they were 4-4 in the opening 8 games that season. So they did, of course, go on to win the premiership. So, yeah, it's not all doom and gloom should they not get up in this one. But, it would obviously raise some questions. And especially now with Sam Walker off the field. We talked about in the opening rounds, it looks like Sam Walker and Cherry-Evans are just not sure who is meant to be running the show. That's how it looked to me anyway. Watching the Roosters play, there seemed like there was uncertainty as to who had what role. So it'll be interesting to see like this next 10 minutes or so of the second half, however long is left for Sam Walker to pass his HIA. Actually, I think the halftime break counts, so he might come straight back out. Never mind. I was going to say that this little period of play to start the second half without Sam Walker might just free up DCE a little bit because he's got no choice but to take full control. But yeah, now that I think about it, I'm pretty sure the halftime break counts towards that HIA, that HIA time that they have to stay off the field for assessment. So never mind. If Sam Walker's free to come back, he'll be back by the time the second half starts, I'm pretty sure. It was a nice thought, though. Scaife, 97. Ahoy, mates. Manly look good for this lead? No. I mean, they haven't been terrible. Manly were atrocious last week, right? So they haven't been that bad, but yeah, both of their tries have been completely, I don't want to say against the run of play, because against the run of play is more like a dropped ball that gets scooped up or an intercept, right? But both their tries have been long range, just completely unexpected. Not necessarily against the run of play, but totally against the momentum of the contest. And the first try was just completely unexpected. So for those who didn't see, kickoff, Roosters kick off. They kick off deep into the left corner. Manly take the first tackle. They then, rugby league live video game style, immediately shift the ball through the hands out to the right edge. Saab had space, runs up from inside his own 20, over halfway, draws in Tedesco, and puts Tommy Turbo in under the sticks on tackle 2. It was one of the craziest things I've ever seen. It was straight out of a video game. But then it was all Roosters. They couldn't take advantage of the domination they had in territory and possession, and Manly went on a little bit of a momentum run. Took Kola out of nowhere, breaks away from inside his own 30 and scores. DCE copping the booze tonight. Yes, that's been a storyline throughout the course of the week. Will they or won't they? I didn't notice any booze when they first ran out onto the field, but then I was talking to the chat room. Wasn't really paying attention. Oh. Crazy first half. Crazy first half. Yeah, but every time he has touched the ball since the game has started, yes, absolutely, there has been a chorus of boos. Quite noticeable. So, Wasted World of Sports, here's an opportunity for me to plug our website. I have launched our official website, wastedsports.com.au. I'm pretty sure if you type in wastedworldofsports.com.au, it still works. But wastedsports.com.au is the official one. That's the official domain. Like I said, pretty sure the other one works, but you don't need to type in all the rest of it if you don't want to. So, yeah, wastedsports.com.au. We're going to be posting on there. It's just not every single little piece of news, but if I talk about it on the live stream, there will generally be some sort of news article available attached to it. We've also got links on there for our tipping and fantasy leagues that we run as part of the channel. So I didn't get a fantasy league started for this season in the NRL, but we do have the Wasted World of Sports tipping contest up and running, which I am currently leading, I should point out. I don't know whether I'll still be leading after this weekend because there's some 50-50 games coming up. There's some games I'm really, really uncertain of. I've got to say that I thought for sure the Roosters would win this one and win quite comfortably. The Broncos-Dolphins, I think, is a real 50-50. I'm not convinced. Like, everybody's saying the Broncos are back. The Broncos are back after that win in Melbourne, and whilst they have a right to be excited about that victory down in Melbourne, it really was a game of two halves. Like, I don't think Melbourne weren't exactly playing to their best as well. That there wasn't enough made out of that 17-kilometre-per-hour breeze that was running from right to left on the TV screen, right to left. So it was at the back of the Storm in the first half. They scored 14 points. It was then at the back of the Broncos in the second half. They just happened to score 18 points. Not enough is being made of that. So everybody's sort of focusing on the Broncos win, which was a big moment because it broke a hoodoo. So I understand, but putting that game into perspective, not enough is being made of that breeze. So I'm surprised it's not being talked about. It really was a game of two halves. Like, both teams were awful running into that strong wind. So long story short, I'm not convinced necessarily that win means that the Broncos are back. We'll find out this weekend because the Dolphins found themselves some form the other week against the Sharks, and they started to look really good defensively. We know that they're going to be good on attack, but they found some defensive form there against the Sharks. So that's going to be a really 50-50 game, I think. It's a tough one. Raiders, Sharks, that's a tough one. So, yes, I feel like this is a good week for people to throw some odd tips out there and perhaps catch up. You got the Dragons, Titans. That's going to be a 50-50 game as well. So, Dan Jam, ahoy, mate. Philip A, do they take a locker room break at the half? Yes, they do. Around about 10 or 15 minutes. 10 minutes, I think. Drizzle for shizzle. How good are the boos for TCE? It is quite humorous, yes. UFC, you've become a changed person. Oh, not too much, I hope, because I quite enjoyed the person that you were. But anyways, I'll finish reading. I've become a changed person. I look at the world a different way now because of what I've been exposed to at work. The emotional intensity has caused me to slowly slip away, and it's harder to laugh. Oh, well, that's no good at all. I mean, it would be really, really tough work, though. I was actually thinking a similar thing. Like, I know that you're not a vet. You work in the legal world, if you don't mind me saying to everybody on the live stream. But yeah, I took a Laura to the vet the other day, and I was just like, man, whilst it would be so rewarding in so many ways, it must just be so depressing just to have all these sick and injured animals coming through all the time. And I really upset myself. But anyway. ARW, you need Olakau'atu to run full steam ahead into DCE. Or Paseka and Olakau'atu to do a classic Steve Matai Tafua on him. Now. We don't wish bodily harm on any of the players. Except maybe Reece Walsh. But even then, it'd be a bit nasty to wish bodily harm on him. He's an absolute goose, but we don't want to see him get hurt that badly. Maybe just a little bit. 10 points. Okay. Now, I haven't done my traditional halftime stats. Let's have a look. Halftime statistics. Actually, I'm going to do a quick check-in on my eBay store as well. Okay, cool. Just making sure that there's nothing I need to do there. All right, let's have a quick rundown of the stats as they get ready to come out for the second half here. So there we go. I was talking, Roosters have dominated possession. 57% possession. 100% completion rate for the Roosters. That doesn't feel right, but it is. 76% to Manly. They don't put territory up for some reason on the NRL website. They've decided that territory is not a stat that needs to be on their stats page. 6 errors by Manly to the Roosters 2. Manly have given away the only penalty in the game. How in the hell are Manly ahead? Well, they are only ahead because of the missed goals, the missed conversions from Sam Walker. Hamish, ahoy mate. Hamish McClellan. $10 to 8 at the break. Teams are out for the second half. There we go. Meters gained, 1,060 meters to the Roosters, 964 to Manly. Now, remember that's probably a little bit skewed because of those breakaway tries. That's 83 meters to Manly, at least for those 2 tries. Priscilla Timothy, ahoy there. Looks like Manly may come home with a win against the Roosters. 2 points the difference, 40 minutes left to play. They will be very, very rejuvenated by the fact they've gone into halftime leading. How they've gone into halftime leading is just, that's bewildering. But Finn, you like Wong. Siwa Wong is a fantastic player. Fantastic player. Underrated as all hell. You know what I would love to do, and maybe we do this at full time. I would love to put together a top 13 of underrated players. We've done our 13 of overrated players in the past. What about a starting 13 of underrated players? We've already got one. Siwa Wong's playing in the second row. Second half about to get underway, though. We'll come back to that conversation at some point if we so desire. 10 to 8, Manly leading. Referee blows the whistle, gets us underway, and it is the Roosters who will have first use of it here in the second half. And Butcher, Nat Butcher, who's on the field, takes the first hit up. Still inside their own 20. Nwangani Tawase brings it just on the edge of the red zone. Becca Marie, ahoy! Yes, big, hardcore Roosters fan. Over there is Becca, very hardcore.
You're not hardcore unless you live hardcore.
There we go. Any excuse to play that. Down the short side, Robson to Angus Crichton. Crichton carries it up over halfway. Fifth and last now for the Roosters inside Manly's territory. Walker is back on the field. Puts the high ball up. It's going to land 15 out from Manly's line where Trebojevic is met by the kick chase. Taken to ground about 5 in from touch over on that far edge. Manly now go the early shift again into midfield. Hopewade steps, bends the line, and he's taken down on the 20. Lehigh Hopewade nearly breaking through. Kola from a standing start. That means nothing to this guy. Now Burbo up to the 40. Couple of tackles left. Fogarty, dummies to go out wide. Takes the line on himself, fifth and last. And that's taken Fogarty out of the kicking line. Brooks, it's up to you, my friend. He sends it deep. In behind with a nice angle. But it sits up for Tupou. And Tupou winds up those big giraffe legs. And brings it back into midfield on the 20. Craig Howarth, ahoy, mate. How are you, my friend? Up the Bronx says, come on. Just Julian says, up the Waz. As Nwangani Tawase fights his way up to the 40-metre line. Halfway through the set, Robson to Watson. Watson will take it into Manly's territory here on play 4. Getting some good go forward. Bray says up the Dragons. Walker goes out the back for DCE. Tedesco through the hands. Out to the left they go. But the defence numbers up quite easily. Fifth and last 30 out. Walker puts it up. Contestable kick. Tommy Turbo back there and under it. 10 metres out. Easy take for Tommy T. 2.5 minutes gone in this second half. Manly somehow leading this game by 2. We went through the stats at halftime, and the Roosters with 100% completion rate and dominating possession. Yes, they are behind because of the missed conversions from Sammy Walker, but I mean, this shouldn't even really be a contest on the back of stats like that. Olakau'atu plays it. And now Simpkin goes up outside the 40, almost to halfway. On the fifth and last, Brooks looks short side for Fogarty, goes on a run. He's got Trebojevic with him, who grubbers in behind. It beats Tupou, but it sits up at the back for Teddy. Teddy caught with the ball. 15 out from their own line here, the Roosters. Tupou, from a standing start, they're up quickly on him. Wong in midfield. This is our boy, Siwa Wong. Underrated as all hell. Butcher. That's Butcher Egan. 1 out stuff from the Roosters. Big kick needed here from DCE from inside the 40. Gets a good angle on it, but tracking back to take it on the full is Jason Saab. And he gets those big giraffe legs pumping back into midfield. So we almost saw a 40-20 very early on by Jamal Fogarty. But outside of that, no real threat for the 40-20 coming into play. And somebody needs that for their SGM. So keep an eye on that. 40-20 is still required as Manly halfway through the set. Almost up to the halfway line. Up over halfway goes Simpkin. Inside for Burbo. Burbo straightens. And he goes to ground 35 metres out, fifth and last. Bad service there to Fogarty, who spills it in behind. Goes back to retrieve it and does well to get the kick away. But he puts it straight down the throat of Tupou. And Tupou will run it back to the 30-metre line over on that left edge. Scrappy do there from Manly. Harry Spike. Do I reckon Saab gets in? Oh, they've gone for the early kick here on play 2. Cherry-Evans finding space in behind. But Tommy Turbo tracks back. Now he gets away from the kick chase. Gets away from Robert Toya, but it's Siwa Wong there to bring him to ground. Now Wong makes the hit from dummy half. Hopewade goes to ground and they've wasted a tackle. Oh, he's such an underrated talent, Siwa Wong. 6 minutes gone in the second half. No change of score. And no real change of the way that this game's been playing out. Paseka, haven't said his name much tonight. Takes the tackle on the Manly 40-metre line. Brooks to the line. Goes late at the back for Tommy Turbo. In and away. Gives it to Kohler. Kohler goes to ground 40 metres out. Fifth and last. Back to Brooks. Brooks puts it high. And Nwangani Tawase secure under the high ball here. 15 metres out. ARW says Siwa Wong, first player eligible for 6 countries. Wow. Who are the 6? Just out of curiosity. 7 gone in the second half. 10 points to 8. Missed conversions. The only difference between the two teams here. Missed conversions. Robson scoops it up with one hand from dummy half. I hate seeing that. Fifth and last on halfway here, the Roosters. Walker, pressure on him. He gets the kick away. It's high, but not a lot of distance. Manly let it bounce. Cherry-Evans chases through to put pressure on. But Tommy Trebojevic comes down with it. 15 out from their own line. Cherry-Evans leading the chase. Kohler trying to get himself a one-on-one over on this left edge. Ben Trebojevic now. Another good solid carry from him. Brooks from dummy half. Bumps off the first tackle. Heading back in towards midfield. The crash ball now for Hetherington. Hetherington takes it into Roosters territory. Fifth and last. Short side. Brooks is going to have a run here. Ben Trebojevic drops it cold. And it's scooped up by Nwangani Tawase. Flick pass back for Tedesco. Tedesco infield for Watson. Watson to Walker. Walker's got Crichton running with him. Crichton dummies. Puts the fend on Fogarty. Fogarty comes back at him and brings him down 40 out from the line. Counter-attack was solid there from the Roosters. Boy, do they need this front football. Watson. 25 metres out in midfield on play 2. Short side, Tedesco stepping back infield. Bumps off the first tackle. Spins away and is taken down. 15 metres out, short side, they stay again. Through the hands, Angus Crichton looking to offload. 2 tackles left for the Roosters. Walker heading back towards the post. Grubbers in behind the line for Butcher. It hits the upright, bounces back into the in goal, and Tommy Turbo will ground it for a dropout. Roosters. That's their best set of 6 in a while. Let's see, Fogarty. Does he go long with the restart again? Yes, he does. Fogarty winds up, bounces it on halfway, and it's going to fall 35 metres out from the Roosters line, where it's scooped up by Egan Butcher, and Butcher's met in the tackle by Ben Trebojevic, Paseka, and Jakey Simpkin. Paketti back on the field as well. Both Paketti and Walker pass their HIA. Robson from dummy half. 25 metres out in midfield. 3 tackles left. Here's Paketti. Late ball goes out the back for Butcher. Wasn't expecting it. Does well to hold on. 15 out from the line. Into midfield for Watson. Watson runs straight. Puts the fend on one and he's taken down 10 metres out from the line here. Fifth and last, just to the left of posts. Cherry-Evans in midfield. Grubbers in behind the line. Perfectly positioned is Tommy Turbo. And Turbo's tackled a metre out from his own line. But what positioning there from Tommy T. Read that like a book. 10 points to 8. Manly lead. 11 minutes almost up in this contest. 10.5. Set restart here for Manly. Ill discipline from the Roosters. They've lost it. One-on-one steal. Who was that? Connor Watson take a bloody bow, mate. 25 out from the line in midfield. Butcher will take tackle too. Boy, they just had a set restart as well. Brichetti back on the inside line. Short side for Walker. Comes back in field for Watson. 6 more for the Roosters. Cherry-Evans, the double pump out for Toya. Toya steps off the right. Beats the tackle, scores. Oh, it was so easy there for Robert Toya. Nothing was doing. The attack was flat-footed. The defense was even more flat-footed. And Robert Toya just a step off the right boot, puts on the fend, and he cruises over the try line. And I'm sorry, but that was just a little too easy for the Roosters. Robert Toya, Brooks was overcommitting. Tolo Kola can't get back. And that is the easiest try Robert Toya will probably score in his career. 12 points to 10, kick to come. Try confirmed. Robert Toya gets the Roosters back on track. 12 points to 10 with the kick to come, and it will be the easiest kick of the night for Sam Walker. 2 meters to the right of the post, and he pops it over. 14 points to 10. Well, if they go on with it from here, the Roosters, they have had an almighty scare. Craig Howarth says, I can't believe that I'm watching 2 teams that I hate with a passion. It's rugby league at its ugliest. Yeah. Although, it is amazing, mate. Like, when I started this channel when I restarted this channel. I started the channel back in 2019 for the Rugby World Cup, but that's all I did was the Rugby World Cup that season. We brought the channel back a few years ago for Rugby League, and I had a lot of teams that I hated. But it's funny, when you do it every week, you start to lose the hate for some of those teams. High contact here from the kickoff, and a penalty to the Roosters. So straight off the back of points, a piggyback upfield. And since the re-inception of this channel, as the Roosters find touch 40 meters out from their own line, there's been quite a few teams that I've disliked over the years. Roosters back in the lead. What can they do? Tedesco dancing his way through half a gap in midfield. Looking for a quick play the ball. 45 meters out. Taking it to the line. Out the back for Cherry-Evans. Spins and gets into space. Tosses it over the top for Toya. Toya looking for a double. He's dragged down 10 meters out. That was touched by Manly as well, so it's 6 again. Cherry-Evans infield for Walker. Walker's got Butcher. And Nat Butcher held up 5 meters out in front of the posts. Left they go. Walker out the back for Teddy. The flick pass goes out the back for Tupou. Nice hands there from Savala, who's on the field. And Tupou's gone to ground now. Over on the left edge, 2 meters out. Savala into dummy half. Walker for Tedesco. Cherry-Evans, set restart. Toya goes one-on-one with Brooks. Bends them. Can't go through, though. Brooks had some help in the end. A meter out. Watson will grub her in behind the line, looking for Connor Watson. Robson to Watson. The grubber kick in behind is the answer to everything. And the Roosters score again. A meter out from the line, lined up to the left. And Reece Robson says they're going to put a cheeky little kick in behind the line. And Connor Watson gets a very kind bounce of the ball. It swerves out. Shane Warne's spin style. And it's a try under the sticks. Oh, God. No. Not Collins. Not Collins. Connor Watson we need. Geez, all the numbers are messed up tonight. What's going on? It's all those late changes. All those late changes to the teams. Connor Watson is the number 14. Okay, I must have accidentally pressed 10. No? Okay. Oh, well. Conversion from Sam Walker. It seems insistent for some reason to put Lindsay Collins in. Let me see if I can figure out why that would be. Aha. There we go. I don't know if this will fix it live on the fly. We'll find out. Oh, Jake Trbojevic off the field. There we go. Connor Watson. That's better. 20 points to 10. Roosters leading this one. Manly goes short with the kickoff. Oh, they're throwing some curveballs tonight. But it's well read by the Roosters, and they have it in good field position now. BTC is James on. James Tedesco. The man with the athletically sized buttocks. Sexiest butt in rugby league. Yes, he is on the field. Up to halfway. Go the Roosters. Butcher. That's Butcher Nat. Takes it into Manly's territory again. They've been presented this field position. Tedesco with the short ball for Wong. Wong goes to ground 30 metres out, fifth and last. DCE down the short side. High contestable ball. Gonna land 10 out. Tedesco wins the battle in the air. Tosses it back. Robson keeps it alive with the boot for Crichton. Crichton to Walker wrapping around. Harbour Bridge ball over for Tupou. Tupou grubbers into the end goal, but he's in touch when he grounds it. Daniel Tupou was already touching goal when he regathers the ball and plants it. That'll be no try. Some slick hands and some slick feet from the Roosters here, but ultimately Daniel Tupou just got it a little wrong at the end. Well, has he been tackled without the ball? That's what we'll look at here. Was Reuben Garrick committed in that kick chase, or has he been tackled without the ball? We're having a look here. Reuben Garrick getting out there in cover defense. Oh, this is going to be touch and go. This will be really touch and go. Did he have an opportunity there to back out of that contact? I'm saying he probably does. I don't think it's a penalty try. I don't believe it's a penalty try, but it should be a penalty to the Roosters here, quite frankly. Garrick had quite some time. It is going to be at least a penalty. It's going to be at least a penalty, if not penalty try. Decision pending. The try has been awarded. Penalty try right under the sticks. Roosters go even further ahead now. Ruben Garrick with an early tackle on Daniel Tupou, which has forced him into touch. The call is that if he doesn't make that tackle, Tupou wouldn't have ended up over the sideline when he played at that ball. Penalty try, and well, it's hard to argue. It's very hard to argue. Penalty try for Daniel Tupou. 24 points to 10. The kick to come. The kick will be from right in front. Sam Walker should make this one pretty easy. Moves in. Puts it over. 26 points to 10. The Roosters looking pretty comfy now. Bevo, thank you very much for the gifts over there on TikTok. Very much appreciate that, mate. What have we got? We got an ice cube. Fantastic rapper, by the way. And a fun actor as well. We've got a pop. GG, a TikTok. Thank you so much for that, mate. Very much appreciated. 26 points to 10. Roosters running away with it now. Manly, it was a little bit early for the short restart, you would think. I mean, they did do the early shift on tackle 2 from the kickoff, which created a try. So they are doing some things completely against the norm tonight. And now a spilt ball from the Roosters. Lindsay Collins drops it in the act of playing the ball. Manly can answer straight back here. From the kickoff, Lindsay Collins from the back fence, and he drops it, getting up to play it. Here we go. Scrum, midfield, 10 metres out. Manly, this is their opportunity. They have to answer. Can they make Craig Howarth happy? Tommy Turbo goes on his own. 5 metres out, 10 to the left of the posts. Back into midfield they go. 2 metres short. Simpkin fires it over into midfield for Hetherington. Hetherington, a metre short, right in front of the post. Simpkin goes right. Fogarty, cut out pass for Garrick. Garrick can't get on the outside. He's taken down by Hugo Savala. Fogarty steps off the left, bends the line. Angus Crichton, desperation tackle there, brings him down. 5th and last, Brooks grubbers him behind the line, but it's scooped up by who else but Siwa Wong. Is there anything that this man can't do? The Roosters survive, but Manly didn't really throw too much at them. Ways is better, ahoy mate. Do you think the Warriors starting Metcalf too early? Quite possibly. The Warriors are doing just fine. I wouldn't be surprised if he's in the squad, but a late shift. Here's a kick on tackle 4. Trying to catch Manly napping. 40-20 is on. No, it doesn't go long enough. Goes into touch about 25 metres out, but the early kick almost caught them napping. Chris, ahoy mates. Over there on TikTok. Yeah, what were we talking about? Oh, Metcalf. Yeah. Now's probably not the time to get too much into it, but I wouldn't be surprised if there's a late change and he does actually start from the bench. They don't really need to risk him against a Tigers team who's going to be without their halves as well, you know? 40 metres out from their own line here, Manly. Halfway through their set already. Brooks to Burbo. Ben Trbojevic. Flick pass out the back for Brooks. Gets away from Collins. Gets away from a second Brooksy. Up over halfway. 2 tackles left. Short side for Kohler. Beats one. Kohler's dangerous. Fires it in field for Hetherington. Hetherington carries it to the 20. Good field position now for Manly. Fogarty kicks down the short side, looking for Saab. It's not deep enough. Olakau'atu rips the ball away and spills it forward. And the Roosters will get the ball. Michelle, what did you miss? The Roosters with a couple of quick tries and a penalty try. I think that's our... No, it's not our first penalty try of the year, but yes, it's the first penalty try we've streamed, I believe. Ten out from their own line. The Roosters controlling the stats and now controlling the scoreboard as well. 26 points to 10. Up the doggies, says Matt Burton or Ethan Strange. I'll be brutally honest, up the doggies. I prefer Matt Burton overall. Ethan Strange is still very, very young in his career, and he's got a lot of upside. But Matt Burton's already a proven commodity. So I'm picking Burton. Fifth and last. Roosters on halfway. Cherry-Evans puts the ball high. Not contestable. Easy take at the back there for Tommy T. Thinks about passing. And he goes to ground. 20 out from his own line. 15 in from touch. Back into midfield. Garrick held up in the tackle. A forlorn-looking Anthony Seibold up in the coach's box. Big defense in midfield. Billy Smith is off. Yes, Billy Smith has called it a night in his return from concussion. The silly goose having an e-bike accident or e-scooter. And yeah, his night's done. Therefore, my multi is done. Fifth and last kick goes downfield. And it's taken by Tedesco. Tedesco now carries outside the red zone for the Roosters. 16 minutes left to play in this one. And they're well in control of things now, the Roosters. Jakey boy, Gerbo, passes his HIA. Cherry-Evans down the short side for Wong. Wong tackled on halfway. Two left here for the Roosters. Walker drops it off for White. White 40 meters out. Manly side of halfway. Fifth and last. Sammy Walker puts it high down the middle. And it's taken by Saab at the back. And they are there to meet him as soon as he catches the ball. The kick chase has been so solid. Short side, Olakau'atu. Taken down 30 meters out from their own line here, Manly. Back into midfield for Brooks. Through the hands now. Hopawade steps off the left. Goes to ground 40 meters out. 2 tackles left. Brooks will run it to halfway. Dummies. Gives the late ball out the back for Turbo. Turbo to Kohler. It's 2-on-1 here. Kohler draws in Tedesco and puts Tommy Turbo in for his second. The Seagulls break out again. They might not be done just yet. Tommy T gets a double. Running it down the short side. Again, from inside their own half, only just on this occasion. 2-on-1. James Tedesco commits to the outside man. He gives it back in field, does Kohler for Teddy Tedesco. Nafahu White couldn't make the tackle. Nawanga went for the intercept rather than the man, and that created the space. 2-on-1. Poor Teddy was on a hiding to nothing there. It was two very, very speedy outside backs. It wasn't like he had a forward and a back, which makes it an easy choice of who to go after. It was 2 backs and he was on a hiding to nothing. 26-14. 13 and a half minutes still to go, and we've seen what Manly can do when they get on a roll. They came back from the dead to force Golden Point against the Raiders, a game that they probably should have won in the end. So we know they can do it. We know that they can do it. Fogarty, 10 to the left of posts. Oh, geez, he's pushed it, but he's got it through. It was close enough that he would still get that through. But boy, he is not kicking well tonight. G'day, mates. Yes, Bo over on TikTok. Yeah, double header tomorrow. Warriors, Tigers, Broncos, Dolphins. Olakau'atu from the kickoff. Manly with 13 minutes to go. 10 points behind. We've seen them come back from this. Oh, sorry. I thought that was Olakau'atu from the kickoff. It is Simeone Leafi. Boy, they look similar. I think Olakau'atu is actually off for a rest. Manly, 5th and last, just inside Roosters territory. Fogarty. Oh no, 5th and last now. I should stop having toilet breaks. I always mess up when I come back. Brooks to Trebojevic. Ben Trebojevic creates space for Kola. Nawaqanitawase jams in on him. Kola forces the offload. And it's gone forward. But looking threatening there, Manly. Starting to look very, very threatening. Matthias Raymond. Roosters should have scored more. I think so too. I think they should have been ahead at halftime. Manly took the lead into the halftime break. Only by 2 points, but they took the lead into the halftime break. That's crazy. Down the short side again, the Roosters. Loving the short side tonight. Angus Crichton takes it up over halfway on play 4. 11 minutes to go. Cherry-Evans to White and Nafahu White inside the 40. Still going White. Still going Nafahu White. 5th and last. Front foot ball for the Roosters. Cherry-Evans puts it high. Kick chase is good. Pressure on Tommy Turbo, who takes it a couple of meters out from his own line. Manly back inside their own 10. Still time. We've seen what they can do. Fogarty to Olakau'atu at the back for Tommy Turbo. Holds the pass up for Saab, who was in space. And he spills it over the sideline. Oh, it was on. Jason Saab was about to go length of the field. Well, not really. He was about to go from halfway to score the try that brings them right back into the contest. And he can't get his hands on it. The pass from Tommy Turbo was perfect. Jason Saab was wide open. Boy, they've bombed a big one there. Big opportunity gone. 40 meters out from the line, Roosters survive an almighty scare. Again. 30 out from the line. Cherry-Evans out the back for Teddy. Oh, and Teddy spills it out the back. It was touched by Manly, though. 6 more tackles. They've got the set restart, the Roosters. Collins in midfield. Taken 25 out. 9 minutes remaining. Walker heads across field, drops it off here for Crichton. Angus Crichton to the 20. Stands in the tackle. Now he's flung to ground. Set restart. Butcher in midfield. They're up quickly on DCE. Spins out of the tackle, though. Gives it off to Wong. Wong taken down by Brooks. Back in midfield. Plenty of tackles up the sleeve here for the Roosters. Cherry-Evans to Teddy. Steps back in field. Ben Trebojevic has got him. Burbo brings him down 10 metres out. Walker heading out to the left. Oh, God! Shoulder to the face. Jason Saab's off. Jason Saab could be off here. He's come racing in from the wing, and he has landed high contact on Hugo Savala. Hugo Savala was slipping. In fairness, it looked very, very bad in real time. Oh, actually, no, he wasn't. He wasn't really slipping. Jason Saab, he's going to be having to sit down, I think, for the rest of the night. Direct contact to the face. It looked nasty. It sounded nasty. And if you come racing in off your edge like that, you've got to be so, so careful. Shoulder to the face, and Saab will be having to sit down. Here he is. He's got the call out. He has got the call out, and he's going to have a sit down. Jason Saab will be on report here. 10 in the bin. And that quite possibly puts pay to any Manly comeback this week. Hugo Savala's having a laugh, but he knows that he's going to be off for a HIA momentarily. Independent doctor will be jumping in on that one. 26-16, Saab in the bin for the rest of the game. Hugo Savala, we're expecting him to get called off the field for HIA at any moment. The Roosters, an opportunity here to ice this contest. Putting it into touch over on that left edge. 15 metres out. Here they come. Butcher with the tap and go for Walker. Walker's got Collins. Breaks the first tackle. Lindsay Collins. 10 metres out, just to the left of the post. Butcher in midfield. Carries it inside the 10. Robson takes a couple of steps. Gives to Cherry-Evans. Siwa Wong drops it cold out the back. Oh, we've been talking him up all game. And then he makes a simple mistake. Well, they're not out of it. They're not completely out of this yet. Scrum down for Manly on their own 10. Wanted 6. Or wanted I6. Defense, please. 1 to 12. Well, they didn't need to defend in the end there, did they? M on TikTok, you need Crichton or Olakawatu to score $200 from $10. Oh, that'd be nice. Bro Liver 99. I feel if it's a send-off for head contact, it should be automatic HIA. I agree with you 100%, and I cannot believe that Hugo Savala has not been called off yet by the independent doctor. That's crazy. But both rules should absolutely align with each other, 100%. Short side for Brooks here on the 5th and last. Brooksy puts the kick up. And Nwanganitawase with the take at the back. Tackled 20 metres out from his own line. Robert Toya takes it out of the red zone. 6 minutes remaining. We've seen Manly pull off a similar miracle and force Golden Point against the Raiders. Can they do it again here tonight? It's not looking likely now with Saab in the bin. Roosters with the extra man take it into Manly's territory. 2 tackles left. Robson goes left for Walker. Cut out pass here for Crichton. Crichton from a standing start takes the 5th and last tackle. 30 out from Manly's line. Walker keeps it down the short side. It's going to land on the 10. Taken by Butcher. Batted back in field by Tupou. Collins has got it. Lindsay Collins with the grubber kick in behind the line. And Tommy Turbo collects it. Lindsay Collins is probably not the man, no offense to him, that you want that deflection going back to as Garrick heads across field and he's a little upright. Lucky to stay in the field of play. 5 minutes left to go. Lehigh Hopewade. Lehigh Hopewade defies belief, doesn't he? He looks so tiny, but he's so powerful. Through the hands now, Tommy Turbo. Cut out pass, goes out wide to the left. Scrambling defense of the Roosters shuts that down, and they force the turnover. 40 out from the line. 4.5 to play now. That's where they needed Jason Saab. They were missing pace out there. Walker turns it back inside for White. And Fahu White. 30 metres out in midfield. 4 minutes left to play. Sammy Walker. Inside ball there for Nat Butcher. Takes it to the 20-metre line. Lined up to the left, but Walker grubbers in behind for White. Needs the bounce, doesn't get it. Tedesco toes it through and puts it into row 10. 7 tackle set incoming here for Manly. Miracles can happen. Oh, here we go. Captain's challenge. For some reason, Roosters are challenging the call. Maybe claiming interference of some sort. So Sam Walker puts the grubber kick through and is then taken out by 2 players. Tedesco then gets a second kick to it. Fahu White misses it completely. Well, this is interesting. Roosters have captains challenged. The bunker has now intervened and said, because the on-field referee missed the touch from one of Manly players, then the Roosters weren't given the opportunity to know that they had 6 again to make a more efficient play. So we come back and replay tackle 5. I've seen it all now. I've officially seen everything now. 5th and last, 20 metres out from the line, and the Roosters get to replay tackle 5 because the referee missed a touch from one of the Manly players. So it was deemed by the bunker that the Roosters were denied an opportunity to know that it was a set restart and make a better decision than the one they made. Crazy. 5th and last, Cherry-Evans now dinks it in over the top. Contestable ball. Robert Toya rips it away from Tommy Turbo. Robert Toya gets a double. That'll be the game set match for sure. If it wasn't already. Robert Toya with a double tonight. And it's an interesting call. Captain's challenge. On the 5th and last, James Tedesco has thumped it into row 10. It would have been a 7 tackle set for Manly. They've captain's challenged. The bunker has said the referee on field has missed a touch by one of the Manly defenders, which would have caused a set restart. And so the call was that perhaps if James Tedesco knew that there was 6 again, he wouldn't have kicked it up into the grandstand. and perhaps just dived on the ball to reset play. So the Roosters got to go back to fifth and last and have a replay of that final tackle. And they end up scoring a try from the kick, perfectly placed by Cherry-Evans. And Robert Toya rips it away. And now Tommy Turbo is having words with the referee like, what the hell was that all about? Well, Tommy Turbo's just like, in my entire career, I have never seen anything quite like that, sir. $30 points to 16, kick to come, 3.5 minutes to play. Sam Walker, about 15 to the right of the posts. Well, what's happening here? Try's not been confirmed yet. Oh, it's all happening out there. It's all happening. Absolute chaos. Try confirmed. All right, Sam Walker, 20 out, 15 to the right of the posts. To make it 32 points to 16. Sammy Walker puts it right down the middle. And the Roosters looking ever so comfortable with 3 minutes remaining. Skorenix says if Manly would simply put me on as a starting prop, I'd have scored an extra 16 points for them by now. There you go. The message has been sent. Anthony Seibold, are you listening? Skorenix for starting prop. Manly goes short with the restart. Nwanganitawase up there, Gazali. AFL style off the back of one of the other players. Takes it. Brighton heads across field. Straightens. Puts the fend on Ben Trebojevic. Floats a forward pass out to Tupou on the left. But again, it's Belinda Sharp's edge, so no surprise it was missed. Back in field. ARW says, let me jump in too if they need another 6'5". Straight through goes no. Fahu White. Tommy Trebojevic makes the cover tackle. No, he doesn't. He fends him off. And Trebojevic is down in back play. 5 meters out. White's been brought down by Gerbo. 2 tackles left. Cherry-Evans chips over the top for Wong. But Hopawade comes down with it. But all eyes here on Tommy Turbo. Penalty to the Roosters. Manly offside. Tommy's back up and about, but he doesn't look happy. I don't know if he looks unhappy about the scoreline or if he's come up a little bit lame after that. B-Rod, what's the total tries score for both teams? I believe it's 9 now. 2 for Nwanganitawase, 2 for Toya, Watson and Tupou. So that's 6 for the Roosters, 2 for Tommy Turbo, and 1 for Talu Kola. So, yeah, 9, I believe, overall tries. Nafahu White here for the Roosters. Tackle 2. 1 minute left to play. Robson goes left for Walker. Gives it inside for Tedesco. Straightens, dancing around in midfield. Halfway through the set, 1 minute left to play. Robson to Walker again. Walker, they're up quickly on him. Wrapped up by Fogarty, his opposite number. 2 tackles left inside the last minute. Cherry-Evans grubbers in behind the line for Collins. Brooks gets back and grounds it, though. Goal line dropout incoming. And time on. Manly go longish with the restart. And setting up a drop goal here. And he's kicked it from 40 meters out. Sam Walker says, we'll have another point. Why not? Sam Walker from the goal line restart claims it on the 40-meter line and decides to have a drop goal. And he stepped just inside the 40 meters, so it wasn't a 2-point drop goal. It was only the 1-pointer. But, yeah, how about that for cheeky and adding insult to injury? 1 point to finish the game. Well, the game's not over yet. There's 13 seconds to go. $33 points to 16, and Trent Robinson looks surprisingly unhappy. Channeling his inner Craig Bellamy there. Manly go short with the restart. And it's taken by Nwangani Tawase again. Bends away from the first tackle. Taken a ground just inside from the touchline. That's time up. That's the game. 33 points to 16. The Roosters over Manly. After a crazy first half where Manly, despite all the stats, took a lead into the halftime break. The Roosters end up running away with it at the back end. And, yeah, Craig Howarth is not a happy man. Not a happy camper at all. Hey now, Michelle. I only get stroppy when our KOs are on different timestamps. Because you're talking about things that have happened like 5 minutes ago. But since the update, our KOs have pretty much been on par. So hasn't been a problem at all. A field goal from Sam Walker has created this. I tell you what, you know how you can bet on odds and evens? You'd be furious if you bet evens on this game. And then Sam Walker's just had a practice shot at drop goal. Nicholas says, how is it 33? Well, let's talk about it. So, Roosters had already had the game won. They forced a goal line dropout. Manly went deep with the goal line dropout. It landed on the 40-meter line. Sam Walker collected it. And Sam Walker looked up, saw that he had acres of space and said, you know what? There's like 30 seconds to go. I'll just have a practice at drop goal. And he stepped inside the 40-meter line. That's why it wasn't a 2-pointer, of course. And he just decided to have a shot at drop goal. Because why not? Why not? Goal line dropout, 40 meters out. He takes it and says, I'll have a shot. Landed it, and the Roosters end up 33 points to 16. Oh, yeah. Actually, ARW raises a great point. There was somebody in the chat room that had 1 to 12. They won't be happy campers right now. That got away from them in the end. And I'm fairly sure that somebody would have had evens on this game. That was kind of like, I don't know how many gamblers there are out there, but that's kind of like going to the casino and loading up on a number and on roulette, and then the 0 hits. Which I realize that's not a direct translation from rugby league to roulette, because there are odds and evens in that as well. But I just mean that's what it feels like. Like, who takes a field goal at that moment in time when you're already up by that much? Just decides he's going to have a practice from that far out. And that's what it feels like when those zeros hit on the roulette wheel. Mene DNC. Am I pronouncing that correctly, my friend? Mene or Mean Gene? Mean DNC. Top Knight from PNG. Your name? Oh, it's none of those things. Your name is Paul. Awesome. I'm trying to pronounce your username, and all the while you've already told me in the message. Michelle was right the other night. She's like, Dan, you son of a bitch, you got to start reading the full message before you say anything. And I've done it again tonight. Your name is Paul. But I like saying the usernames, though, because the usernames are quite often funny, especially when people have gag usernames that they try and send through, like Ophelia Heine, Joel Plunkett. Ahoy, mates. How are you doing? All right, I'm going to have a quick break because how to say it politely? I have to piss. I don't know. I don't know how to be polite. I'm sorry. I'm going to have a whiz. I'll be right back. But when we come back, what we were going to talk about is the rest of the games the rest of the games this weekend. And we're also going to talk about an underrated top 13. We've already done the overrated top 13. We're going to pick an underrated top 13. So, yes, be right back. All right. Thank you for sticking around. Nice to have you all with me. So, yeah, we've been doing these post streams every now and then. We've been talking about overrated players and underrated players. We've already done an overrated. How do I turn my TV off? There we go. We've already done an overrated starting 13. Do we do? Do we do an underrated starting 13? I feel like, it's obviously something I need to have a think about and put together a proper list. But yeah, I was going to put Siwa Wong clearly in one of the second row spots, but he made that mistake at the back end. I suppose you can forgive him for that one mistake at the back end, considering everything that he's contributed. I still think he's got cause for being in there. Oh, ARW, we did an overrated 13 at the end of one of the streams. Yeah, I should be more across the content we create. Yeah, I should absolutely be more across the content that we create here on the channel, but I never got around to clipping it. And yeah, I can't remember which game it was, but yeah, we did it at the end of one of the games, and an overrated starting 13. And yeah, I thought it might be time for an underrated. But thinking about the overrated one's easy. The overrated one is so easy because just take 90% of the players that Fox and Channel 9 fawn over, and you've pretty much got your starting lineup right there. Underrated is a little bit more difficult. Players that go underappreciated in their respective positions. Heel Fries, ahoy mate. Yep, double header coming up tomorrow. Warriors versus Tigers, of course. And the Battle of Brisbane, the Broncos versus the Dolphins. Yeah, crazy to think that the Broncos have spent a full week away from Suncorp Stadium, so it'll be interesting to see how they handle that. It's unusual for them. So that'll be, yeah. I'm not convinced. We were talking about the wind in that Melbourne Storm game. 17-kilometre-per-hour breeze at the back of the team running right to left, which was Melbourne in the first half. Melbourne scored 14 points to nil in the first half. Broncos had the breeze in the second half, scored 18 points to nil. Melbourne were atrocious in that second half. Brisbane were atrocious in the first half. Not enough is being spoken about that breeze at the back of the team running right to left. I brought it up during the stream and I said, is 14 points going to be enough with this breeze at their back? Turns out, obviously it wasn't in retrospect. But yeah, I'm not convinced that was the breakthrough win that it's being made out to be for the Broncos, that they suddenly just, I mean, they on Sportsbet anyway, they went back into favoritism for the premiership on the back of that win. And I'm like, oh, that's a pretty big call. I'm not saying that they shouldn't be happy about the win by any stretch of the imagination. But to suddenly have them as premiership favourites, like, that's a bit out there. But we'll see this week. I'm not convinced that they're back. I think that breeze, that 17-kilometre-per-hour wind that night had a lot more to do with the game than I'm surprised people are actually talking about. Yeah, it really was a game of two halves. The only thing that didn't change was that wind that was at the back of Melbourne in the first half, 14-0. Broncos in the second half, 18-0. Who played to the conditions the best? Broncos by 4 points. Yeah, I'm not convinced that was a huge breakthrough victory. So I actually have the Dolphins winning tomorrow night in the Battle of Brisbane. I just think take the wind out of it, and the Dolphins are just in better form at the moment. But we'll see. We'll see. I've been wrong before lots of times, and I'm sure that I'll be wrong lots of times again. That's the beauty of having an opinion. ARW. You'll have to go back and have a look. The Warriors have the whole of May away from home. Does any other team get that treatment? Well, certainly not the Broncos. The Broncos get away games at Suncorp, for Christ's sake. Broncos get more home games every season than any other team. Now, that's not their fault, by the way. It's not like the Broncos themselves designed this. It just so happens that, yeah, I mean, they get Magic Round. Magic Round is an away game for the Broncos. They get to play the Dolphins a couple of times this season, and one of those is an away game at Suncorp. So that's what I mean. I say that. Jack says, did you see the Rabbitohs get to play more games at Allianz Stadium in 2027? Yes. Yes, that's going to ignite that rivalry even further, isn't it? And you love to see it. Who doesn't love a good rivalry, right? I mean, that's the whole reason that Dolphins got brought into the competition, yes? Was to create this Battle of Brisbane, this fabricated Battle of Brisbane. At least now, like, we're a couple of years in, so we're a few years into the whole thing, so it starts to have a little bit of weight to it. But yeah, I remember when the Dolphins first came into the competition, and they're like, this rivalry. And I'm like, rivalry? They've never played each other before. So obviously the whole reason that they went Dolphins was to create this fabricated Battle of Brisbane, even though they're not even technically supposed to be a Brisbane team. They're from Redcliffe, supposedly. But I digress. But yes, a true rivalry is the owner of Allianz Stadium. ARW says Magic Round should be a biannual rotation between the big cities, not just Brisbane every year. Auckland deserves it, especially after how successful Nines was and the Warriors selling out every home game. You know what makes that more impressive, ARW, in my opinion? Now, I live in Brisbane. I live in Brisbane in Australia, so I am not sure on I'm not on the ground over in New Zealand. But as far as I'm aware, New Zealand is still well and truly rugby union territory, right? So for the Warriors, when they're up, to get the support that they do in rugby union land, it makes it all the more impressive, right? UFC, ahoy, mate. Welcome back, or thanks for sticking around, as the case may be. And the Warriors, I'll tell you what, they've proved me wrong this year. The Warriors are this year's Raiders. Because you know how I always back against the Raiders, and they make a goose out of me every season. And then this year I said the Warriors are really going to struggle with Metcalf and Barnett injured. Now, both players have come back from injury quicker than I was anticipating when I made those statements, in fairness. Luke Metcalf expected to be back this weekend. Mitch Barnett already returned. But it's Tanner Boyd, really. Tanner Boyd has been the one to really, really make a complete and total goose out of me. Because I remember the round one game, and I said, the problem for the Warriors is Tanner Boyd is not an NRL level starting halfback. He's been man of the match every week. Son of a bitch should be leading the Daly M's, were it not for Jackson Ford performing even better. But we expect that from Jackson Ford, though. In the absence of Mitch Barnett, Jackson Ford has just elevated his game to whole new levels. But Tanner Boyd's been the surprise package. Like, I actually came out and said it on the stream before the game kicked off. This is my reason for thinking the Warriors will struggle in the early rounds. Tanner Boyd. Outside of Nathan Cleary, he's the form halfback of the bloody competition so far this year. Yeah, ARW says since 2023, rugby league has really gone up again after the Warriors season. Rugby will always be New Zealand's main sport, but league is booming. Warriors sell out while rugby's struggling to fill seats. And I think the issue, like, rugby, okay, when we're talking about rugby union, we've got to be pretty clear, separate international rugby from, like, provincial and franchise rugby at Super Rugby level and club/provincial rugby. That MPC, is it still called the MPC even? MPC level and whatever the hell it is that we've got over here in Australia. So there is clear distinction, because international rugby that's backed by the World Rugby and everything is thriving everywhere, all over the world, even Australia. Like, the cross-code rivalry creates this bitterness, and rugby league supporters are like, oh, rugby union is dying in this country. It's actually not. Rugby union never really had any ascendancy at club level, ever. It just never existed. Provincial level as well could never compete with NRL or AFL. International rugby, though, always gets big numbers. So we've got to remember, when we're talking about rugby union, there is that segregation, that separation, whatever word it is that I'm looking for, between international and club/franchise provincial level stuff. So that's important to note. I agree that rugby is struggling at that level down in the Southern Hemisphere. Like, because international rugby is still thriving. Wallabies Springboks games sell out. All Blacks Wallabies game, sell out. All Black Springboks game, sell out across the ditch, right? It's still thriving. Argentina now, very competitive year after year after year. The sport's growing over there. So, yes, it is an important distinction when we're having conversations like this to separate the two, world rugby and club rugby. Super Rugby, I think, struggles just because, well, it never really... It's burnt out from oversaturation, and their answer to that when negotiations came up to reevaluate the broadcast deal was the conference system. And the conference system, all it did was just kill the whole thing. And it struggled to recover from that. I feel like it's recovering now. Like last year was probably the best season of Super Rugby in a long, long time. I haven't been following it this season because I just haven't had the time. That's my bad. Like, I started a new business in the off season, and that's been taking a lot of my time in between streaming and whatnot. You have to focus on where the money is. It's not necessarily for me in diving headfirst into a full season of Super Rugby. So I think the conference system really killed it off by oversaturating the product. Too many teams equals too many weak teams. What Super Rugby really needs to do, in my opinion, and they won't do it, this will never happen, but this is what I think needs to happen. Go back to basics. Remember when it was Super 12? Super 12 rugby was the granddaddy of elite provincial competition. And it was before it was all franchised out as well. Like, we started to get mergers between provinces to create a franchise. Because in Super Rugby, Super 12s, it was still the Canterbury Crusaders. There was still an allegiance to that region. But then they started, okay, well, we're going to take little bits from this province over here and little bits from this catchment area over here. Not really Canterbury anymore, is it? So we'll just franchise it, and they're the Crusaders. So as soon as they dropped off that that attachment to an area, I feel like a lot of the patriotism fell off. Super 12 was like the pinnacle of club sports, in my opinion. It was a short season. It was intense. If you lost one game, you were on the back foot. It was elite. And that's what I loved about it. Like, this is a tough competition to win. So if you win this competition, you are the very best of the best. Now you've got, like, half the competition qualifies for finals, and because of the conference system, teams that have won less games qualify above teams who have won more, and it's just this whole mess of a thing that they've created for themselves. Bring back, and like I said, this will never happen because of broadcasting and everything like that. Bring back Super 12. Cut teams out of it. Go back to basics. Bring it back to the elite, the best of the best. Conference systems just don't work. And it's been proven, yet it's persisted with. Rugby league's even talking about expanding and having a conference system. And I'm like, no, have you not witnessed what Super Rugby did to itself by over-expanding and having a conference system? And it's like, oh. Yes, Ryan Zealand, ahoy, mate, by the way. And yes, Super Rugby has obviously been forced to cull now, because South Africa withdrew from the competition, of course. So we do have less teams, which is kind of... and that's exactly why, as I said, last season, it was probably, like, it's starting to get back on track. Last season was probably the most exciting year of Super Rugby that I can remember in a very long time. So... But I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, correct me if I am wrong here, but I think there is still too much focus on what's the word I'm looking for? The rivalries, like it's still somewhat conference, even though it's not like it was when it was Super 18 or whatever, and it was the South African Conference, the Australian Conference, the New Zealand Conference, which was just ridiculous. The best thing about that, though, I'm just going to sidetrack myself for a moment. Best thing about that, though, was the Japanese team being involved in it. That was pretty cool. But I think they even need to go back to less games. We've lost the South African teams to the Northern Hemisphere. That's cool. That makes more sense for them. How painful did it used to be having to get up at 2, 3 a.m. in the morning to catch my Crusaders over in South Africa to take on the Bulls and things like that. So, yeah, gone are those days. But yeah, just bring back the snappy. Everybody plays everybody once. They rotate home and away each season. None of this. Some teams play each other 2 times. I don't know if that's what happens in Super Rugby now, if only certain teams play each other twice. What happens in the Rugby League at the moment? But it just creates imbalance and it creates a mismatch. And I would love to see the old school Super 12. Everybody plays each other once. And it alternates home and away each year. Those were the good old days. That was a long time ago, man. That was a long time ago. I still remember going to the games at Ballymore. Queensland Reds played out of Ballymore at the time. Little Dan was doing his autograph hunting. I've still got my autograph book in the back there, and some of the programs, some of the old programs of Super 12. I've got Justin Marshall's autograph in there, Mertz, Jonah Lomu. Yeah, I still remember it was my cousin who got me to meet Jonah Lomu that day, because it was when he was playing for Auckland, and Auckland came out to play the Reds, of course, at Ballymore. And yeah, there was this whole mass of people waiting for Jonah, and he went out, cheeky bugger, sort of went out the back way. My cousin was so furious. She was so pissy at him because she's just like, oh, he knew that these people were waiting for him. And look, the Blues got tanked that night. I was understanding. I tried to talk her down. I'm like, well, it's understandable. Like, they just got flogged in the game. He probably doesn't want to come out and put on a happy face in front of all the people, you know? I understand. He just wants to sneak out the back and have some drinks with his mates. But, yeah, ended up meeting him that night anyway. So my cousin was a very persistent sort of personality. Yeah, she just went up to the security and was like, she told every lie under the book. I mean, I was dying. It was my birthday, and it was my only wish to meet Jonah Lomu, and the security guys just like, oh, well, good Lord, what do I do here? Okay, he can go through. Little Dan got his autograph with Jonah Lomu. Anyway, sorry, sidetrack Jones. What were we talking about? ARW, you're born and raised New Zealander and always had Kiwis over All Blacks as your favourite national team. You love them both, but if they were on at the same time, you're watching the Kiwis all day. Well, there you go. And to make the game more interesting, quick pace, they adopted a lot of rugby league rules. And interestingly enough, what I find humorous is for all the bickering that goes on between the two codes, mainly from the rugby league side, rugby league now actually adopts more of a rugby union mindset when you think about it. The short restarts from dropouts, as an example, the tendency to go for the points, kick for goal. I remember one of the big things, like, because in high school I used to play both. I didn't care. Rugby league, rugby union, I enjoyed them both. I preferred playing rugby union, but that's only because I was unfit. I will always say, the big difference between the two games, rugby league, sorry, you do have to be more fit. So as I went through high school and I just continued to beef up and beef up and beef up, that's when I sort of went, yeah, rugby league, the constant up and back, you know, run up in a line, make the tackle, retreat 10, up, tackle, retreat 10, up, back, up, back. That got to me in the end, and I'm just like, yeah, I'm going to stick with the union where I can just sort of hang back a little bit. And so as I beefed up and the fitness started to drop, I became more of a union boy when in terms of playing. So, but the big argument always used to be to a person who enjoyed both and still enjoys both very much. Oh, it's all penalty goals in rugby union. Now I find it funny because, like, whenever there's a kickable penalty in rugby league, we'll take the two, thanks. And rugby union these days, modern day rugby, in the Southern Hemisphere anyway, at that club level, teams have a tendency to go for the try. So it's completely reversed. BTC says, was 13 plus tomorrow? Look, I think so. I really think so. It'll be interesting to see what they end up doing with Luke Metcalf. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a late change and Metcalf actually starts from the bench. But they've also named Harris Tavita. Harris Tavita, I think, got named in the 14, didn't he? So, well, Harris Tavita is probably closer to full fitness than Metcalf, surely, you would have to think. It's going to be interesting to see what they do there. I wouldn't be surprised, though, if there's a late switch. Oh, no, Sam Healy's the 14. Harris Tavita's been named as number 20. Okay, well, that makes it easier. Harris Tavita's the number 20 interchange, so he might not even be in the final squad. There you go. I wouldn't be surprised if Metcalf ends up... Oh, but then who plays 6? Who plays 6 then? Yeah, well, I guess Metcalf is starting. Look, I would have eased him into it. I would have eased him back in. I feel like they might be rushing him. Jack, thank you very much for the heart me over there on TikTok. I would have eased him back. I feel like they've rushed him in, but we'll see. We'll see. Major floods all around the country and raining cats and dogs and owners in Auckland. Terrible weather. Well, here's the thing. I thought tonight's game, because it's been raining cats and dogs and owners, I thought tonight's game was going to be played up the middle, so I went Angus Crichton and Olakau'atu in my same game multi, expecting that it would be a tight, controlled contest, but both teams not afraid to throw it around, and that's kind of the modern-day rugby league player, isn't it? They're, even in wet conditions, not afraid to throw the ball around, and I feel like when you've got a couple of young playmakers, well, Tanner Boyd's not that young anymore, but yeah, just thinking about the average age of both squads. Like, you've got some young X-Factor players on both teams who won't be afraid to throw the ball around, even if it is pissing down. We might still see a bundle of points. So, yeah, that'll be interesting to see. Jack, thank you very much for the rose and the GGs. Jay says Walsh to score tomorrow. Well, they're not forcing. I don't think anyone held a gun to his head. But Adam Reynolds is back. So that'll be interesting to see. It's no secret that Reece Walsh plays better when Adam Reynolds is not on the field. Whether Reynolds starts or not, whether ultimately Reynolds gets ruled out or not, at the moment he's been named to start at number 7. And yeah, not to say that Walsh can't score a try or two with Reno on the park, but I think the stats don't lie. Reece Walsh does a lot better when Adam Reynolds is not playing. So maybe it's in the best interest for the Broncos if if Renault doesn't come back. Jay, you won tonight, 11K. Oh, very nice. Battle of the Centres. The Battle of Brisbane, it's the Battle of the Centres. Two of the best centres in the game. Stephen Crichton's probably standing there above all of them, waving from the top of the podium, but I think a very close second and third would be Katoni Staggs and Herbie the Lovebug Farnworth. So that's going to be a great battle. Staggs versus Farnworth. Farnworth, of course, former Broncos player. Selwyn Cobbo, corn on the cob. Corn on the Cobbo, former Broncos player as well. So that'll be a bit of fun. Yeah, there'll be some heated battles out there tomorrow night. I'm looking forward to it. I'm not a fan of either team, so I'll be going for the Dolphins. I hope the Dolphins win. I'd like to see the Dolphins do well. Jay says, tomorrow, trust me, Buller, Dallin, Lecker, Walsh, Staggs, Cobbo. ARW on YouTube says, Halasima for a hat trick. Oh, he's a beast. Halasima, love him. All right, I'll be right back. Yes. Halasima, what a beast. Mo Lyon says, nah, trust me. Tomorrow, Hammer and Cobbo and Dolphins to win. See, this is the problem tomorrow night, isn't it? There's so many different try-scoring potentials. Now, I live about 20 minutes south of Brisbane, and I can tell you that it's been raining, not continuously, but it has been raining pretty heavily on and off. Whether that flows into tomorrow, be interesting to see. Jack says, Greg Inglis or JT? In what context are we talking here, Jack? Because just, yeah, what's the context? Like, if I was starting a new team, who would be the first one that I picked? If I could only pick one, just in general? Well, I mean, Greg Inglis was just a freak, wasn't he? I sort of, yeah. See, I'll be honest, that's a tough one for me to answer because I know that I just did a huge, like, 20-minute spiel about liking both games and I enjoyed playing both games and I follow both games. But I did go through a long period of time where I wasn't watching rugby league that intently. And that was pretty much the Jonathan Thurston era. So everybody that I talk to, just the way that they talk about Jonathan Thurston is just like the guy was Jesus, basically. Like he walked on water and never made a mistake. I sort of came back into rugby league at the back end of JT's career. And all I saw, obviously, was a player, as happens when you start to get a little bit older. I obviously caught a player on the decline. So I was watching rugby league from everything that I'd heard. And I'm watching Thurston and going, this is the guy that they all rave about? Like, I appreciate that, yes, he's getting to the back end of his career now, but, like, he's putting balls out on the full. He's putting grubber kicks 10 rows back into the grandstand to give away possession, and he's dropped. Like, All I can say, in fairness, is I probably missed the golden era of Jonathan Thurston. I definitely caught a lot of the best moments of Greg Inglis, though. And I appreciate that there's obviously some crossover there, but I still watched Greg Inglis just tear. I don't think Jonathan Thurston ever. And correct me if I'm wrong, because again, I didn't see everything during this era. I don't think Jonathan Thurston on his own, him alone, ever just dismantled a team. But I saw quite a few State of Origin games during that period where Greg Inglis would just tear New South Wales apart single-handedly. So, based on the knowledge that I have between the two players, I have to give it to Greg Inglis because he was just a freak show in all the best possible ways. Yeah. That's really the only way I can answer that question. But yes, I appreciate it. Cooper says Andrew Johns is the GOAT. Hands down. I don't think there's any question around that. But then again, it's one of those things, isn't it? It's like New South Wales allegiance will point to Andrew Johns. Queensland allegiance will point to Jonathan Thurston. Mo Lyon says, who's the better team in the rain, Dolphins or Broncos? Well, I feel like we might find out tomorrow night. I've got a feeling it might just... Hang on. Let's check the radar. Because like I said before, I'm about 20 minutes south of Brisbane, and it's been raining in patches. Let's check the current radar and see if there's anything just hovering about. Okay, there are some big clouds north up around the Gympie area, but which way are they tracking? Not really heavy rain clouds, though, in fairness. And it looks like they might be pushed out into the ocean before they get here. They're sort of angling 45 degrees across. There's a biggie, though, further infield. Springshaw and Longreach. So if that continues tracking across, that will probably be here by tomorrow at some stage. There's a big one south, so if we get that's a massive one south. So if we get a change of wind that starts to push that north, that'll be a huge one. But yeah, it might not be an issue. We might not have to worry about it. But to answer the question, hypothetically, who's the better team in the rain, Dolphins or Broncos? I would probably say Dolphins. Especially because the Broncos are going to be without Payne Haas. Without Payne Haas, I feel like the Dolphins might just have an edge around the ruck. If Payne Haas plays, Broncos clearly have ascendancy up front. If Carrigan steps up and plays like he did last week, Broncos will be just fine. But no Payne Haas. Yeah. I just feel like the smaller, more fleet-footed, ball-handling forwards of the Dolphins might just have an advantage tomorrow night. We'll see. We'll see. Jack says Payne Haas might as well just come to the Rabbitohs early. I'd love to see that. I'm all for that. There is no way in hell that the Broncos are letting that happen, but I would love to see that. Boy, oh boy, imagine that. Imagine a forward pack of Payne Haas, Payne in the Haas, Big Davey Fafita, and Keon Kalamatangi. And then you've got Cameron Murray out the back. Bloody hell. That is insane to think about. Now, obviously, I'm pretty sure that when Payne goes over, Payne and the Haas ultimately goes to the Rabbitohs, I'm fairly certain they're losing Kalamatangi. I believe that's correct. Keon Kalamatangi's on his way out. Payne Haas coming in. Imagine though. But what I'm saying, imagine if Payne Haas goes there now. That's the topic of conversation. Jack is saying, for the chat room on the other platforms, Jack is saying Payne Haas might as well just go to the Rabbits early. So Kalamatangi's out the door by the time Payne Haas gets there. But what I'm saying is, imagine if he goes now. It'll never happen, but I'm saying, what if he did? Broncos say, yep, you're causing disruption in the locker room. If you want to leave, just leave, big fella. And he says, okay. And he gets on the phone to Uncle Wayne and says, can we make this happen now? And somehow it happens now. Kalamatangi, David Fafita, Payne in the Haas with Cameron Murray out the back. Oh, wow. Talk about one of your all-time forward packs. But yes, one can dream. One can probably make it happen on Rugby League Live, but or whatever they call it these days. Rugby. What's the new game called? I've actually never played it. It looks. You know what? I'm a little bit of a gamer. I do have a YouTube channel as well called Intoxi Gamer. I sometimes do some gaming live streams over there. Rugby League 26. Thank you, Fins Up. Is it any good? Like, I see gameplay clips and everything, and I see people throwing, like, 30-meter cutout passes left and right, and I'm like, okay, you don't expect video games to be picture perfect, but I also don't see, like, no offense to Lindsay Collins, I've just pulled his name out my wazoo, but you don't see Lindsay Collins throwing 30-meter cutout passes to the winger out on the left edge. You know what I mean? But that's what I see in some of the clips. I'm like, a forward takes a hit up and breaks to the line and then fires this huge pass from midfield to the left winger in open space. And I'm like, what? What the hell did I just watch? But I am a little bit of a gamer, so I'll probably check it out at some point. Might wait for it to go on special, but then I could be waiting a very long time. Rugby League Live 4, right? That, actually, I might still have it here. Yeah, suss that out. I actually do. It's a little bit, oh God, it's a lot dusty. But I actually do still have it here. Rugby League Live 4, PS4. Adam Reynolds on the cover in a South Sydney jersey. Suss that out. Wow. Ah. Empty. It's probably still in the console because I haven't touched my PS4 for goodness only knows how long. But yeah. Wow. Adam Reynolds on the cover, Rugby League Live 4. When did this come out? Quite a while ago. I remember playing that in my old house. I'm also pretty bloody old as well. I mean, I don't know how old I look. That's up to you as joining me from the other end of the camera to decide how old I look. But I'm pretty bloody old. I was around for ET's Rugby League on Atari. So ET's Rugby League, Andrew Eddinghausen. Yes, that was the first rugby league game that I ever had back in the day. Daniel Gamata, Eagles chemistry. You know, Manly, despite the scoreline, Manly weren't far off tonight. They played a lot better this week. So it's interesting. It's taken them some time. I think Jamal Fogarty's been disappointing. I don't want to be too harsh on him. He's a solid player. But don't know if he's really fit in well with Manly. I mean, Jamal Fogarty looked like a representative player when he was playing for the Raiders. But I don't think we're only 4 rounds in, and he's gone to a new team, and got to take that into account, yes, but I don't think he's not even anywhere near the conversation. But then, in fairness, neither is Cherry-Evans, and Cherry-Evans is pretty much a walk-in for representative level most occasions, isn't he? So, yeah, you've got to take that into perspective. Going to a new club is not easy. Not easy at all. Who's the worst defensive player in the NRL? Oh, never easy questions to answer because sometimes there's a lot of mitigating factors that come into it. And mitigating factors, of course, mean like new combinations. New combinations can create a lack of trust on your inside man, and trust is so important. So if you don't trust your inside defender and you constantly feel the need to turn in, you create a weak outside shoulder that guys can just steamroll through. So, yeah, to actually single anybody out as being a particularly bad defender is it's pretty difficult. No, says Ezra, put his hand up for that award against the Eels. Yeah, Ezra was pretty atrocious that week. Yeah. Yep. Maybe Ezra needs to get on the nose candy and cause another car accident to find some form. I don't know. I don't know what makes that team tick, honestly. But yeah, he was pretty bad. Yeah, it's really tough to single anybody out. I mean, obviously up until tonight, the Roosters have been having issues with Cherry-Evans and Sam Walker. That was all the talk in the lead up to this game, was the amount of line breaks that have been caused through their respective channels. So, yeah. The thing is, too, like, and this is the thing that I always say to people as well, because I talk a lot about players being overrated and things like that. Overrated doesn't necessarily mean that you're crap. You know, like Ezra had a bad week against the Eels. He was terrible. Doesn't mean that he's a crap player. He's a bit of a crap human being, let's be honest, but doesn't mean you're a crap rugby league player. And when I talk about people being overrated, stuff like that, like if you make it to the NRL, you are obviously talented and you're obviously good at what you do, generally speaking. So I think once you sort of make this level, it's it's hard to really single anybody out because there's a lot of stuff to take into account for it. I appreciate the question though. It's just it's a tough one to answer. I mean, I can't think of anybody off the top of my head that is just completely downright awful. Yeah, they'll have good and bad weeks. I don't know if there's a stat for this. We can check out the NRL website actually and see if like just for shits and gigs, as they say, who's got the most missed tackles or something like that. I don't know if that's a thing that they put up there. All attacking stuff at the moment. Defense. Missed tackles. Yeah, see? Like, so far, Isaiah Katoa for the Dolphins has the most missed tackles. Does that mean that he's the worst defensive player in the NRL? I'm going to say no, because I've seen him put some monstrous hits on. So, yeah, it's a tough one. Tough question. I don't mind the tough questions, though. I just, struggle to answer them. Vincent Spears, music. Ahoy, mate. Or Vincent Spears, 123. You are still doing your music, though, right, my friends? Yeah. Wasted World of Sports. So we'll definitely do we'll definitely do some parties again this year. We had some fun parties in Melbourne in 2025. We're going to try and get to Sydney in 2026. So if anybody is in Sydney or in Melbourne and has some venue suggestions, I'm very open hearing them. Basically, just a place to just come and hang out and watch the footy, watch some sports. We do that one weekend every season. A chance to hang out with everybody and have some drinks and catch up. In Melbourne, we did it at... the venue name escapes me. But I'm very open to suggestions in Sydney. I haven't found anywhere convenient in Sydney. I'd love to get there in 2026. Mason, NRL and UFC. Do you play fantasy Supercoach or anything like that? Just tipping this season, Mason. So wastedsports.com.au is our official website. And there is a tab in the menu for fantasy games and tipping. All our links to active competitions will be there. They're all free to join. They're all through official channels like the NRL website or the Supercoach and things like that. Didn't get a chance to do Supercoach or fantasy this year, so just the official NRL website tipping is all that we got set up for the NRL. Vincent Spears, you just turned 18 today. Oh, so it was your birthday? Well, that's what just turning 18 today would imply. Is it your birthday? Well, you know what has to happen. We have to find the happy birthday rock. I won't play it just yet. I want to find out if he's just mucking around, having a laugh. People like to joke and say that it's their birthday. Even when it's not. Just to get a reaction. So we're going to find out if it actually is before we do the salute. Oh, it is his birthday. Okay. Happy birthday, Vincent Spears music. Cheers, mates. I hope you have a fantastic day. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Happy birthday, Vincent Spears. Mason, NRL and UFC. Rod McGrath, by the way, cheeky bugger. How are you, mate? Nice to see you there. Stalking away in the chat room. I do apologize if you made mention of yourself earlier than right now. What am I looking at? Oh, who did I tip the rest of this round? That's what I wanted to look up. All right. Hold on a minute. Okay, I get with the program. Eventually. Okay, so I went Roosters tonight. That was a tick, obviously. Warriors Tigers tomorrow night. I've gone Warriors. I have nothing but all the best wishes for the West Tigers this season, but without Jerome Luai for 4 to 6 weeks. Yeah. It'll be tough going. Luke Metcalf returning for the Warriors. Broncos, Dolphins, like I said, I did about 15 minutes on this earlier, so I won't go into details again, but not enough has been mentioned about that breeze, that 17-kilometre-per-hour wind that was in Melbourne. Melbourne had it at their backs in the first half, 14-0. Broncos had it at their backs, second half, 18-0 was the point scored. Ultimately, Brisbane won. What I'm saying is I'm not convinced that the Broncos are back like they're making out. Dolphins to win in the Battle of Brisbane. That'll be the bookies' upset of the round because the Broncos are very short price favourites. Bulldogs, Knights. Oh, the Knights. Bulldogs seem to struggle to score points, but their defence is what gets them home. Bulldogs to win. Panthers, Eels in the Battle of the West. The Eels always step up against the Panthers. Like there's a team that the Panthers always have a dogfight with, and it's the Eels. But the Panthers are just on a different planet at the moment. They're in a different stratosphere. So Panthers to win. Cowboys, Storm. Well, the Storm were obviously far from perfect against the Broncos. But again, like 17-kilometre-per-hour wind against them in the second half. So as much as I don't think the Broncos are back, I'm also not convinced that the Storm are that bad. They should dispatch the Cowboys. Raiders, Sharks is a little bit of a 50-50 game down there in Canberra. Oh, look, the Raiders probably win, but I'm a Sharks supporter, so I've got to go for the Sharks. Raiders probably honestly win. Titans, Dragons. I don't think the Dragons could possibly be as awful as they've been the past couple of weeks after they put up a big fight over in Vegas. If we get the Vegas Dragons, they should take care of the Titans pretty easily. If we get anything but the Vegas Dragons, it's up there for the Titans to steal a victory. But I've gone for the Dragons. I love Flano as a coach. And whilst he's struggling to get the best out of his players at the moment, Shane Flanagan has taken my team to the only premiership they've ever won. So I have a lot of faith in him, and I have a lot of respect for him. Yes, he doesn't have the same players available to him as he did in 2016 with the Sharks, but I think he'll get that team humming at some point. So the Titans are pretty much odds on for the wooden spoon this season. Sorry, Titans supporters. The Dragons, I think, get a hard-fought victory on the board this weekend. Rod McGrath. Yeah, you were watching the game, but had me as the voiceover. Oh, cheers, Rod. Always appreciate you, mate. Yeah. That's fantastic. We always love hearing from you too, though, so I'm glad that you've chimed in there, my friend. It's always nice to know that the familiar names are out there, even if it's just to say hello. Even if you're not very chatty, that's all good. Just an ahoy. I mean, by the way, Rod, I'm not saying this at all to make you feel bad. Like, please don't take it that way. Cheeky son of a bitch didn't even say hello. No, I don't mean it like that. But it is always nice to hear from everybody. What I mean. George, the Animal Steel, 44444. Can the Storm win? Not only can they win, I expect that they will win. I think the worst thing that happened for the Cowboys was the Broncos winning last week. Because you know that the Melbourne Storm don't very often lose 2 in a row. Craig Bellamy will be putting the rocket straight up him. And I think they answer with vengeance this weekend. Yeah, Vincent Spears, 4 years, eh? 4 years, my friends. Been watching since, been joining us since 2022. So thank you. You kidnapped so many of my teenage years. Okay. That sounds terrible. But yes, I appreciate it, mate. Thanks for hanging out with us for so long. Us great big goofs here on the Wasted World of Sports. 4 years, wow. You know, like 4 years is more than I've had some friends in real life. You know what I mean? That's more than I've known some people that I've actually physically met. But speaking of actually meeting in person, I was saying we will be doing a Wasted World of Sports tour again this year. We had a fantastic time in Melbourne. We did an all ages at, you know what? I've got to look up what these places were actually called. You would think that I should remember. Well, I should remember because I was actually at the bloody things. It was Docklands and it was some arcade that we did an all ages show. Melbourne Docklands Arcade. Archie Brothers. Yes, last year we did an all-ages party at Archie Brothers. That was a good lot of fun. It was nice to meet some of the subscribers and hang out and talk all things footy. And we did also that same weekend an 18-plus hangout at... it was in Melbourne. It was a sports bar. It was called... It was called what? Ballers Clubhouse in Carlton. Yeah, so we did an all ages meetup at Archie Brothers, and then we did the 18-plus, get on the Terps party at Ballers Clubhouse in Carlton. I'm pretty sure that we will do the same again this year. So anybody who's in Melbourne that wants to come and hang out, keep an eye out for the announcement of those dates. And we're also going to do one in Sydney this year. So, yeah, we're going to be traveling to Sydney at some point throughout the course of the season, do a live show somewhere in Sydney. I'm open to suggestion. I'm not all that familiar with venues in Sydney, so I do need some suggestions. Places similar to Ballers Clubhouse and Archie Brothers would be fantastic. Rod McGrath, you're going to be needing me when you're going to Vietnam in May. You can't watch the games at all. Oh, well, pressure on me. Hopefully I can keep you posted well enough there, mate. Riley, Fernando, ahoy there. First leg of your 5K multi-hit. Nice. Just the first leg? Whoops. Just spilt my drink everywhere. Aussie John, Dan, do you like anchovies on your pizza? Do I look like a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle? Well, actually, probably don't answer that. No, but I'll tell you what, I'm a big pepperoni guy. I don't mind anchovies, but I've got to do pepperoni pizza with loaded pepperoni and extra cheese. Multiple types of cheese as well. Yeah, it can't just be the one type of cheese. I mean, cheese is life. I think that statement alone is like, okay. Yeah, we understand now. We understand. Riley, you've got a 17-legger. Nice. That's got to be paying out of a fair amount. Well, 5K. He already told me. I'm an idiot. He's already said. Riley Fernando, first leg of a 5K, 17-leg multi. Very, very nice. Well, I hope it pays out for you, mate. I mean, there's only so many characters that you can send in the chat room, I know, but I'd be very curious to know what the other 16 legs are. The first one's already hit. We can see that. I'd love to know what the other 16 are. Maybe I can even jump on the other 16 just for a laugh. Aussie John, extra cheese and pepperoni. Yum. So good, so good. Yep. On the rare occasion that I have pizza. Yeah, extra cheese. Well, the chat room's been hijacked by food talk. Oh, excuse me. Cold shiver. It's not even cold. Actually, yeah, it's extremely warm in Brisbane tonight. That suggests to me that there's probably a lot of rain hanging about. Vincent Spears continuing the hijack of the chat room towards food. He just had spicy chicken tenders for dinner. Nice. Oh, I love spicy stuff. I'm all about the spice. The spice doesn't like me, but I like it. Genitalia, ahoy, mate. You know, I was thinking the other day, I miss our Discord chats. The old Discord chats. Dan, Genitalia, UFC, hanging out after streams, talking all kinds of nonsense. All the stuff that we can't talk about on live stream, getting brought up in the bloody Discord chats at all hours of the night. Good times, good times. Vincent Spears says, my brother is a puss when it comes to spicy. That's all right. It takes time to build up to it. There was a period of time in my life when I couldn't even handle just like the first, whatever the first level. See, I don't even remember what the first level of Nando's is anymore, but I couldn't even handle like the first spicy level of Nando's. But now I order extra, extra hot. Like I'm up to the black label, extra, extra hot. Ah, Vincent Spears, you're Italian. There you go. I learned so much about people. Spice tolerance is a lot. Very nice. Genitalia says, aren't manly shit. Yeah, look, they were terrible the other week, obviously. I feel like this week they were a little bit better. They really, really clearly struggle getting the ball out of territory, which suggests to me that they're a little light on in the forward pack. And maybe they're Lehigh Hopewade defies belief as to his power. Like he's a little pocket rocket. But they're missing that big unit that carry out of territory, like the sort of run, like Brian To'o is not huge. Like I think Brian To'o's under 6 foot, but he's a little tank, and he can still do those hit ups out of territory. So I feel like they might just be missing something on the edge. Like Jason Saab is obviously got a lot of pace, but I didn't see him get involved in the heavy lifting tonight, coming out of territory all that much. One of the drunk, ahoy, mates. Paseka. It's Paseka and the Geezers. Who are the Geezers? Not the Trebojeviches. Trebojeviches are us. Manly Seagulls. Genitalia says 3-horse race. Titans, Dragons, Manly, Wooden Spoon. Dragons won't be involved in that, I don't believe. They were abysmal last week, I admit. They were atrocious. and they should have won that game if they could figure out a simple draw and pass to take advantage of an overlap. Dragons should have won that game. They were absolutely atrocious. But I think by the end of the year, I don't think that they'll really be in wooden spoon danger. Titans, I think, are odds-on favourites for it. We'll find out a little more this weekend. I anticipate that the Dragons win quite comfortably in this battle. The Titans are just the Titans. What do you do with the Titans, man? Honestly, what do you do at the Titans? All these years they told us, they just need a coach to bring the best out of the players. But I mean, there's been some quality coaches that have gone through there. So I just don't know. I don't know what you do with the Titans. Aussie John says, Dan, I would still like to shout you steak and chips. Oh, mate, absolutely no need at all to shout me. I appreciate it, though. But yeah, I'm sure that our paths will cross at some point for sure. Like I said, yeah, Waste to Water Sports. We did the meet and greet thing. Not really a meet and greet. We did the party in Melbourne in 2025. We did the all ages one at Archie Brothers Docklands, and we did an 18+ hangout at the pub at Ballers Clubhouse in Carlton. That was a lot of fun. So yeah, we'll look to do something similar. We'll go to those same venues again in Melbourne this year, and we'll include Sydney this year as well. So if anybody can recommend venues in Sydney, I would love to hear it. Because that's the only thing that we're struggling with at the moment. It's like, where do we hold this bloody thing in Sydney? You know, like we're obviously not like a touring music group or anything. We're not going to hire out a venue that is like a big stage or anything like that. We just want like Ballers Clubhouse and Archie Brothers in Melbourne, just a venue that's open to the public, that's going to put the sports on the screen, where we can just hire out a section of the venue that's dedicated just for us to hang out and party, talk shit, have some beers, have a good time, play some pool, play some darts. Darts is a bonus. You know, no cover charge. We don't want to do that. Yeah, just somewhere that we can book a section. And how big of an area? Oh, look, nothing crazy. There was there was only 20 of us at the Melbourne one, so yeah, just a couple of stalls somewhere in a bloody sports bar in Sydney. Like I said, darts is a bonus. And yeah, we'll organise a bit of a live Wasted Water Sports party. Call the game live from a venue somewhere. Actually, we've done it a couple of years in a row now. Knee Crumbler, ahoy, mates. I should do some axe throwing. More fun than darts. Well, I love your Knee Crumbler, but I am a big darts man. I love my darts. I love watching it. I love playing it. I understand that axe throwing is a thing, but yeah, I love my darts. I do have my somewhere. I think I have to move the green screen to get them, though. But Genitalia says, you've stayed back a long time after full time. Do you have nothing on tomorrow? No, it's just, the chat room has kept it going. Chat room's been alive. Like, we're on a few different platforms now, so it's not all YouTube. And, I try my best to, as long as questions and conversation keeps flowing, that I stick around. Tyler says, thoughts on the Raiders this year? Where do you reckon they place? Yeah, look, I think they still make the 8 this year, but I think that I don't want to discredit their minor premiership. And I don't mean it. Yeah, I don't mean it at all. I think they make the 8, but I don't think they'll be top 4 this year. Jamal Fogarty is a big loss, even though he is not exactly lighting it up for Manly. He just contributed so much to that team. I think about the Raiders last year, and I go, okay, they won a lot of games, a lot of tight games, a lot of close games, where Fogarty's goal kicking and Fogarty's kicks in general play, whether it be turning the game on its head with a random 40-20 or something like that. I can't name them all specifically, but there were a lot of moments like that where it was Fogarty. They won games over the past couple of seasons just by having a better goal-kicking percentage than the opposition. So Fogarty was a big, big part of that. So I think they fall out of the top 4. And they'll still make the 8, though. I can see the Raiders still making the 8. But a little bit further down. So, yeah. One of the drunk, you've got Panthers. Well, I think it's pretty much a guarantee at the moment that unless there's a virus that sweeps through the team, that the Panthers are going to be like miles ahead of everybody for the minor premiership this year. The only thing that might stop the Panthers, and I was talking about this with the old Panther the other night. We've got to get the old Panther back on the streams at some point to get his input. But yeah, I was talking about this. I'm like, have the Panthers just got the timing wrong? So last year was supposed to be a rebuild for the Panthers. Brand new halves combination and new players in the forwards. With Fisher Harris moving on, they needed somebody to step up and take control of the forward pack. Last year was meant to be a little bit of a rebuild season. And they got within the hair of a bee's nut of another grand final. Halfway through the competition, they were on the bottom of the table, and then they just clicked into gear, and it was just fitness that let them down in the end. So I just wonder, because they are so far ahead of everybody right now, have they just got the timing wrong? Are they just like a few months too late for last season? And are they have they peaked way too early for this season? That's my only question around and obviously we're not going to know the answer to that until much, much later on in the season. But I just wonder if this what we're seeing now, is this the form that they felt they were building towards for September last year? Have they just got there too late for last year, too early for this year? Time will tell. That's the only question mark I have around them at the moment. Yeah, are they just so far ahead of everybody right now that it's the early peak? But anyway, to go back to one of the drunks' top 8 there was Panthers, Storm, Warriors, Sharks. Ooh, I'm a Sharks supporter, one of the drunks, so I love that you got the Sharks in there. But, geez, I think the Sharks will be struggling to be top 4 this season. Panthers, Storm, Warriors, Sharks, Rabbits, Roosters, Dogs. So Raiders would fight it out with the Dolphins and the Tigers and the Dragons. Tyler says Storm, Panthers, Broncos, Raiders, Warriors, Roosters, Dogs, Dolphins. One of the drunks says, you think Rabbits and Wars drop out? Not the Warriors. No, I think the Warriors. The Warriors still have to prove something to me. They passed an early test by coming to Australia and knocking off the Knights. Okay, it was a Knights team without Kalen Ponga and without Dylan Brown. A couple of really, really big outs, right? Let's be fair. But they still got the job done. And can they do it consistently? Because I think somebody pointed out in one of the chat rooms that the Warriors are about to go on a pretty big run of games over here in Australia. So when the travel really kicks in, that's where I think we'll get the answer as to the Warriors this season. Genitalia says the Panthers are the real deal this year. I do think so, Genitalia. I really do. I just wonder, like, it's the question that's just sort of hanging over my head at the moment. That have they peaked too soon? Is the timing just a little bit wrong? Have they peaked in between grand finals? Kind of like the All Blacks. The All Blacks went through this big period where they would just peak in between World Cups. Like 2 years out from the Rugby World Cup, they would be in unbeatable form. So by the time the World Cup came around, other teams like South Africa and the Wallabies and England have caught up. And they end up sort of creating an ambush and stealing a victory. I just wonder, like, this was the form the Panthers would have been striving to be in by the end of last season, and they're in the form now. Have they just peaked a little too early? How much? If there's too much more improvement left in the Panthers, then that is terrifying. Simply terrifying for the rest of the competition. Larens says the Warriors always start the season strong, but fall off towards the end. Yeah, exactly right. They have a history of it, so it is a little bit too early to tell. Injuries did not help them last season. They were looking pretty good last season until Metcalf broke down. Hannah Boyd has found a new lease of life and career best form now, though. So should Metcalf fall over at some point this year, they might be all right. It is way too early to tell, obviously, how they're going to travel overall, but Genitalia says Panthers, Dogs, Warriors, Dolphins, Storm, Eels, Raiders, Sharks is my top 8. And look at that top 3. Genitalia, Panthers, Bulldogs, Warriors, 3 head coaches, all out of the Panthers system. Cameron Ciraldo and Andrew Webster at one point in the coaching staff with Ivan Cleary, assistant coaches, moved on to bigger and better things. All 3 of those teams, Panthers-based coaching staff, taking the top 3 spots there in Genitalia's prediction. And I'll tell you what, I wouldn't be surprised if it's not too far off that. One of the drunk says Metcalf in 6 and Boyd 7 is one of the best halves combos in the league. Metcalf at 6 is so scary. His run game is elite. Again, I just wonder if it's a little bit too early for him. They are traveling along so well at the moment. I felt like they had the luxury to not rush Metcalf back. I feel like, I hope I'm wrong. But yeah, you would hate to see it. It's just that scary sort of, it's just hanging over my head that, like, you rush somebody back from injury and then they end up making the injury even worse. Broncos are doing it with Reynolds this week as well. They've got no reason to bring Reynolds back so quick. Anyway, I'll be right back. Hey, Genitalia says, oh, hang on. Before that, sorry, Aussie John has come through with Bulldogs, Storm, Panthers, Warriors, Raiders, the old top five, which, funnily enough, Aussie John, you've given a top five there. I think that's what it should be. Bring back the top five. None of this half the competition goes through to finals, bollocks. Bring back a top four, a top five. Hell, even a top six would be acceptable. It's just, half the competition going through to finals. I love it, Aussie John. Top five. Elite. Genitalia says, I want the Broncos to be in the top 8, but I feel like something is going to happen this year, like Reynolds' early retirement will derail the team. Yeah, well, geez, what more do they need to derail themselves, right? I mean, Payne Haas signs with South Sydney. Pat Carrigan comes out and says, yep, my contract's coming up for expiry. Papua New Guinea, come at me. So Carrigan's going to be out the door. Now, Ben Teo has left the coaching staff. This is just like for a team that's just won the competition. And yeah, I've got all the conspiracy theories in the world about last year's premiership, but I digress. A team that's just won the comp, to have so many people now putting their hands up and going, yeah, I'm out of here. It's unprecedented, surely. Like, Panthers lost a lot of players, but that was salary cap driven. It was salary cap squeeze every single year that people had to leave. They just simply couldn't afford to keep everybody. That's not what's happening with the Broncos right now. What's happening with the Broncos right now is people willingly putting their hand up and saying, yeah, I know we just won the comp, but yeah, I'm out of here. I'm jumping off this sinking ship. That's the feeling that it's got. Andrew Boswell says Roosters' completion rate was good. Roosters' completion rate in the first half was as good as it gets. The Roosters completed at 100% in the first half. I still cannot fathom that they went into halftime trailing. Like, how do you complete at 100%, be well over 50% possession and territory, and go into the halftime break behind? Surely Trent Robinson's halftime speech was, they got a couple, they weren't lucky tries by Manly by any stretch of the imagination. But I'm just putting my coach's hat on here and going, well, how do you spin this situation into something positive for my team? We dominated that game. We've played perfectly. Our opportunities will come and we will take them. They got a couple of lucky tries. We just need to keep doing what we're doing and the game will come to us. Maybe that was the halftime talk, because the game did eventually go their way and they ran away with it in the end. How they went into halftime behind, though, is just bollocks. Bollocks how that happened. All right, Waste of Water Sports crew. It's been fun chats. Very much appreciate you hanging out with me for so long after full time. Been a great lot of fun. I will head off now, though, and think about what am I going to have for dinner. Oh, please answer mine first. Have I missed a question? Sorry, Brett. What's your question? Brett, the footy player / Carter. And Genitalia says the Broncos are like a home and away episode. Genitalia, what's the Discord? I'll join back up. I don't know it off the top of my head. Sorry, mate. I'll sort it out for you next time, if that's all good. I don't have it readily available to me. I mean, it's the Discord server of my gaming channel, so I don't know if it comes up as Intoxigamer. I don't know if you can search for... If you can search for a server and you can search for Intoxigamer, that'd be it. Oh, unless it's in the description still. Hang on. I might still have it in the description of the streams. Let's see. I feel like I might have taken it out, though. Yeah, it looks like I did take it out. Because I don't really use it anymore, I think. Who am I backing for the Cowboys-Storm game? I think the Storm rebound. I really do think Melbourne rebound. You don't very often see Melbourne lose 2 games in a row. Craig Bellamy will absolutely put the rocket up him. I think, yeah. I think Melbourne, the worst thing, in my opinion, not what you want to hear. I'm sorry. Not what you wanted to hear. No, I think the worst thing that happened for the Cowboys was the Broncos stealing that win last week because, yeah, we don't see Melbourne lose back-to-back games very often. I'm expecting a response and a pretty big one. So, yeah. Sorry, Brett. Well, I hope for your sake that I'm horribly, horribly wrong. All right, Wasted Water Sports, thank you so much. We'll be back tomorrow for the doubleheader. Warriors versus Tigers, Battle of Brisbane, Broncos versus Dolphins. We'll be here to cover all the action for those of you who don't have access to it, or for those of you who just want to follow along with me anyway. We'll be back to call both games tomorrow. So, thank you so much for your company tonight. YouTube, Twitch, TikTok. Very much appreciate it. Catch you next time. Cheers. And now this awkward pause where I end one stream and another stream is still going. So that's cool. Yep, we'll close that one. Cheers. Oh, hardcore before we leave.
Hardcore. Unless you live hardcore.
Yeah, Jack Black, School of Rock. Just in case, I mean, Aussie John, you do know where that soundbite comes from, right? One of my favorite scenes from that movie. Jack Black, the Legend of the Rent. Such a fantastic movie. Yeah. Oh, the hardcore snippet has been a part of my streams for so long. Like, it predates. Actually, Aussie John, before I leave, I'm going to try and find this. So there's a stream of... Hang on. Let me pour myself another drink first. This is exclusive for YouTube and Twitch, by the way. I've ended the TikTok stream, and I was about to end the YouTube stream. I want to share this with you. I'm going to see if she's still got it up there. So there's a long-time follower of mine back from my Intoxigamer gaming channel days. She absolutely hates the hardcore. Like, she didn't know where it was from. She just, for whatever reason, found it annoying. So I used to go to her streams and troll her with it all the time. And she never knew where it was from. And so she was doing a stream sometime, and she was doing reaction videos. So she's like, if you've got any suggestions for something for me to react to, send it through. So I obviously suggested, because I knew that she didn't know where the soundbite was from, I suggested that she do a reaction to the Legend of the Rent from School of Rock. So I'm going to see if I can find it, because I'm pretty sure that it's on my YouTube channel. I probably made it private, but what I'm going to do, if hang with me for a couple of seconds here. I'm going to go into my YouTube studio on my Intoxigamer gaming channel. And I'm going to find this clip. And I'm going to re-enable the video so that I can share it and we can all have a laugh about this this good memory. This is how long that the hardcore has been in my life. So it should be, I suppose, in video. How many pages do I have to go? Genitalia, you watched Anaconda the other day with Jack Black. Worst movie ever. You know what? It looked terrible, but at the same time, I was a bit... here it is. I found it. I was a bit concerned about it because I'm like, oh, they did not remake Anaconda, did they? And I saw the sort of the way that they did it. I think it was fun the way that they sort of did it. I haven't seen it, and I don't know if I will have the time ever to see it, but I think it was kind of fun the way that they did it, though. It was they weren't trying to remake it. It was like a completely new, take the piss of, we're going to do a parody of this movie thing. Okay, I have found the video. Now available. That's who I'd like to see it. I would like. So, Aussie John, if you're still out there, this is the one that I wanted to share with you. So, just to recap the story, this was an old supporter of mine on my gaming channel. This is how long the hardcore has been in my life. She was is a streamer also over in the United States. And I used to mess with her with this soundbite all the time. Every time that she would come onto the stream, I would play it because I knew how much she hated it. Every time she popped up in the chat and was like, ahoy, I'd be like, Keisha, ahoy.
You're not hardcore unless you live hardcore.
And I could just picture her in my mind seething on the other end of the chat room. Like, for whatever reason, she just hated it. So there was this moment in one of her live streams where she was like, send me stuff to react to, and I knew that she didn't know where this hardcore thing came from, so I sent it to her. So I took a clip of her reacting to it. So yeah, streamer friend of mine. I'm going to share that in the chat room. It should be available on my Intoxigamer YouTube channel. So yeah, Aussie John, check that out, my friend. It only goes for 2.5 minutes or something like that. And I'll catch you all tomorrow. Thank you so much. I appreciate your company as always. Warriors, Tigers, Broncos, Dolphins, doubleheader tomorrow. I'll see you then. Thanks for hanging out with me tonight. Appreciate it as always. Until tomorrow. Cheers.